There we go. Hello? Here we go. All right. Like I said, I'm a one-man band. Excuse me. Let's try this one more time. Ladies and gentlemen, hey, boys and girls, everybody all around the world, hello and welcome to the hottest show in all the globe, en route to the biggest fight of the year, the Watch It Put with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening. Let's make some noise one more time. Clap it up. Get excited wherever you are. We're back on the eve of the biggest magnum opus of the year when it comes to boxing, at least when it comes to the main event of the night. And we finally got history upon us. Crawford and CANELO tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the way, not my dolly. And on Sunday at 4 in the morning, everything's coming up roses. We still celebrating my birthday week all week long, and I guarantee you it's going to be a gift for everybody to enjoy. And we can't wait to talk about it with you on today. As we always do every Friday, we make this show a championship rounds episode. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The entire show, the whole kit and caboodle, is all driven by you and your fan reaction. Whatever you want to say, questions, comments, concerns regarding the world of sports, boxing, basketball, football, the NBA, NFL, video games, movie, sports, all that stuff. You want to talk about it, hey, we can discuss it, whatever you want to have. And I'm assuming that it's going to be majority about CANELO, because hey, everybody, if it was like yesterday and if it was like Tuesday, man, or excuse me, Wednesday, it's good. Everybody's got some thoughts, and I can't wait to hear from you all. So it's going to be a championship round episode for the entirety of the show. You all drive the conversation and drive the link. Hey, if y'all stop talking, all right, we can wrap it up and send it home. Y'all keep going. We're going to keep it rolling. And if it goes too long, hey, yeah, like I said, we got to be ready to be able to go all day. Tomorrow night. But we're going to be excited for it nonetheless. But again, with all that being said, hey, if you would, and shameless, we're not even shameless plug, let's do the intro right. If you're here and you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Yes, come on and join the empire. Come be a part of this community and come be a part of this conglomerate that we're building up together. Hit the notification bell so you know whenever we post right here on YouTube, and you don't miss an episode and you don't miss a podcast, so you can get yourself involved in the conversation. Also, if you want to be involved in the conversation, go on and put your chats go on and put your comments in the chat, and I can bring them up on the screen like we have with a bunch of other people, like with Jay Will. Hey man, what you doing? Glad you're back, and yep, I saw you. Do a thing, you finally caught me, you finally did. Hey, I'm still been here. It's been between 12:30 and 1, I start the show, and then we roll on through up until, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 some days, depending on how good the show is. So hey, I'm glad you caught me, I'm glad you're here, and I can't wait to hear what you got to say, and I'm so glad that you're with us on today. Al Booger, as usual, thank you for telling me there's no audio. We got it fixed, thank the Lord, and it's all so I appreciate that. But how you doing? Thank you for keeping me in check and helping me out, and yeah, I'm glad you're here as well. I think we got somebody else. Oh yeah, and Maid, what's going on, brother? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. We appreciate your time, your excitement. Oh yeah, we got some regulars coming through. We got some new people coming through. We got everybody wanting to see exactly what it's gonna be on this show. And I guarantee you, once you stay, you never want to leave. You never want to leave because you get invested. You get tuned. You get sucked in to the awe and wonder that this show can bring, and hopefully you laugh and you learn along the way. So hopefully we can make that happen. But let's go back to you all this chat since you're here. Hey, let's not waste no more time. Hold on. Before we do, real quick, gotta do the last part. If you want to support the show, and because while we're waiting on monetization, if you want to support the show, we have Cash App and PayPal links down below in the description. If you want to support, help us out. Again, still birthday week. If you want to give a gift or just anything we'll do, we'll appreciate it. Help keep the lights on, and helps us to be able to make this show bigger and better, buy equipment, get guests. Who knows what the world we can do with it. But all we know is we can build something great with viewers like you. You make it possible. We can keep this thing rolling, and we appreciate all your support so much. If you can't give, hey, just watching is good enough, and we appreciate your time being here. And just keep on telling everybody this is the hottest spot in all of YouTube, the hottest show in all the globe, and we're gonna live up to that moniker. We're gonna make you appreciate it, and we're gonna make you want to be a part of this. I guarantee you. But let's go into the chats right now and let's see what you all have to say real quick before we delve fully into the world of boxing as a whole. Bud was elected to keep the hoodie on the past few days. Yes, he has. Now, this is the perfect time. Hey, since we're bringing in the topic already, hey, we can go on and jump into, we can start officially the championship rounds right now. So, it's time to get it popping. It's time to make the world your oyster. And let's see what you got to say as we start the show on today. So, we'll start with this comment. Bud elected to keep the hoodie on for the past couple days. Now, there's been some trepidation, some speculation, some unease amongst the waves of boxing fans when it comes to looking at Crawford and his weight. More specifically, is he really fit and built like that, or is the brother not actually as much in shape as we've speculated to be, as the pictures show? Now, again, we have some controversial situation. 2 pictures coming up, him looking kind of more flabby and him looking more cut up. Which one's the real one? Well, I can validate it when you go on, if you go on to YouTube and you pull up his channel, because if I get up, he's got a YouTube channel. And he shows him flexing and all that stuff live, legitimately working out and all in a big old sweat. Yeah, that the physique that we think he has, the built one, that's the real one. Now he's probably gonna keep it hidden up until it's face to face, so Canelo kind of gets shocked if he's trying to play that mental game of, oh yeah, we gonna show you what we really about. This ain't no game. Again, the mind games, the small battle that we've talked about this before. Every little thing leading up to the fight is a part of the fight, as innocuous and or as big as it may be, depending on what we're talking about. But it's the truth. You're trying to get an edge up on everything. Canelo, and again, like J. Will said, Canelo looked confident. He bought an aviator glasses, a t-shirt, and some sweats coming in. I'll tell you what, Canelo looked mighty cut. Canelo looked mighty cut up, and from the standpoint of not like yes, he's cut muscularly. I understand that, but from the sense of look like he slimmed down a little bit. He were normally used to a more big, bulky, tank-like Canelo. From the standpoint of just a wide mass of muscle, looked a little bit slim, looked a little bit more trim. This could be because he's facing up against somebody who is naturally a smaller fighter, and he's got some speed to him that Canelo might want to be more streamlined to be able to combat that with his own speed of his own. And then again, be at his best. We've been telling y'all he's taking this seriously, so this could be part of the tactics. And this is why we were saying once that weigh-in comes into play, it's going to answer a whole bunch of questions. It's going to answer a whole bunch of questions. That's why, I can't wait. I can't wait for the day. I think it's tonight at what? I think 8. Unless I'm wrong, the weigh-in should be tonight at 8 or 9 o'clock. I think. If I'm wrong, please, hey, don't shoot the messenger. I'm trying to make sure, look, with these different time zones and all that stuff, I'm trying to make sure I got everything in order. Please. Between that and trying to find where they're going to show anyway, which we now have a home for the anyway fight. I almost forgot to tell y'all, we got a home for the anyway fight. Thank the Lord. It's going to be on Facebook Live for free for the world to be able to see. Should have been on YouTube Live for the world to be able to see. Would have been a bigger platform. That's neither here nor there. We got a home now. We know how to watch it. Facebook, go on Top Rank's page. You can watch the anyway fight. And so, boom, we got our answer. Thankfully, it's disrespectful that anyway had to go through this type of stuff. But hey, at least we know what we're doing and how to get there. My gosh. Talk about that drama that we have from yesterday. But again, the biggest thing, going back to Canelo, once we see the way in tonight, we're going to get a lot of people getting either validated, changing their picks, and or having some unease in the pick that they have, depending on which side they lay on. It's going to be interesting. Get ready, because it's going to be something serious. But let me keep on reading up and down. Let me see. The neutral corner. Oh yeah. The neutral corner. Yeah. Have a podcast with ESPN. The neutral corner. Like I said, I'm trying to do multiple things on the side. Coming out of college, went and was blessed to be able to get the opportunity. And yeah, pretty decent, pretty good. Hopefully you listen to it and enjoy. And hey, like I said, that's some more. We're trying to use everything to get big as much as we can. So hey, We're gonna make it do what it do, and so I'm excited for it. But again, this is the Welch Report. I can really go all out on the Welch Report. I got a 30 to 40 minute time limit I got to do for the podcast. But for this show, I can do everything under the sun. So I'm excited for it. Absolutely. Let me see. So I'm excited for this fight. Yep, I am too. No question. Canelo looked cut last night. He looked cut. He looked more so. This looks like a Canelo that's built for speed, like I said previously, again, before I had seen your chat. And so you're absolutely right. Now, will this backfire or will this help him? Because, and I'm gonna answer why that is a big issue in this fight after I read through some of your chats. Like going with Joe Trey. Hey, brother. Yo, what's going on? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. We're so glad that you're with us on it. Hopefully you're enjoying your Friday, and hopefully you can't wait for this weekend. Get your grills ready. Invite as many people as you can. It's a free event, and hey, Netflix is already stopping people from sharing stuff. So hey, take advantage of it and make sure everybody fill up your house. And you know what you need to do? Charge admission to go to your house and go to watch the fight. Make a buck off of the host your own fight party and make it so that you can have everybody see what's going on at your spot and make it a party, make it a cookout, make it an event, make it a spectacle, and make a little bit of money on the side if you can. Oh boy, but man, I'm telling you, it's something that's great. It is something that's phenomenal. And so oh boy, I can't wait to see it. But let me see. Dana White was on the hot seat. Let me tell you something right now. Let me ducking questions left and right, brother. I was gonna wait a little bit longer to touch on that, but we can at least start that conversation now. Brother, Dana White got put in. Dana White got caught in the corner. Hey, look, that brother got caught in the corner. This man barely survived the round when what was it? Zalidi, excuse me, Sean. I always mess up his name, but he's one of the more prominent boxing reporters in the sport. Been around for years. A historian, a savant when it comes to knowing the history of this game. Buddy, he pressed him on trying to strip away the Ali Act and make it so that they raise the minimum wage, or they lower, the minimum for what boxers can pay, and potentially going through and further devaluing the ability of fighters to be able to fight against promoters when it comes to getting robbed. So you don't get people like Don King coming through and sweeping everything and messing fighters' lives up. But he got pressed hard. That man, he got walked and stalked. That's what happened. And the brother trying to talk big and back. Hey, if you want to talk about this, we can get an interview. You know what? We can get an interview. And I still want that. But brother, it's a simple question. It's a simple question. Why would you want to do it? And the other question, which was even easier to answer, if you can't get the Ali Act reformed like you want to, which is a negative thing. Very negative thing. If you can't get that act reformed, will you still want to stay in boxing? If you can't get that act changed. Now, that could have been a layup. Hey, yeah, regardless of whatever happens there, I still want to be in boxing because I want to make a change. That was an easy thing to say. And the brother still was like, oh, if you want to talk big and bad and show out, we can come do something. This is about the fighters. So you need to keep questions to them. Guess what, Dana? This is the question that is apropos for a boxing event. You know why? Because this very act that you're trying to amend and fix, which is really just tearing it down, is going to affect their money for the rest of their careers. So don't be stupid. Answer the question. Because if you doing that, guess what? You and TKO are a major problem that's gonna hurt the sport. You ain't gonna help it all if you do that. I don't care what contender series you got. Guess what? We got Pro Box for that, number one. I don't care whatever plans you want to do to try to make this sport great. Sure, your ability to go and do a model like with the UFC of getting the best to fight the best when they're supposed to, that is absolutely great. No question there. But on the back end, why do you think Francis Ngannou left your butt with the title? because you weren't paying them, and you wouldn't even go and give every fighter health care for life after or once they fight a certain amount in the UFC. You wouldn't even do that. Nate Diaz, one of the most beloved figures in all the sport, that man made more money in one fight against Jake Paul than he made in his entire career in the UFC, and was one of the most beloved, iconic figures that the UFC produced. Huh? Don't make no sense, do it. Don't make no sense at all. The Korean Zombie, a beloved figure, most likely has yet to see upwards of $1 million with how much he was able to sell, especially over in Korea, as one of the, again, a hometown favorite. With him being marketable, with him having some good wins on his resume, and being a consistent, great type of star. Tony Ferguson, same situation. But we keep saying Conor McGregor still made more money fighting in boxing. And even in the UFC, he reached a zenith that blew the ceiling of what a UFC fighter could make, which is incredible, but at the same time was even still underpaid for his entire career based on the stardom that he garnered, because you weren't paying people like that. Yes, UFC is not boxing, and he reached the highest of goals, but if you're not Conor McGregor, John Jones, Brock Lesnar, you ain't getting that type of stuff. Shoot, even Demetrius Johnson, one of the 3 greatest mixed martial artists that we've ever seen in the UFC, breaking Anderson Silva's record, going through and dominating every single promotion he's ever been in. One of the greatest champions, period. Pound for pound. Legit pound for pound, top 5. That brother the amount of money he made in comparison to his greatness was so far and away beneath him. Why? Because of the model of the sport. So yeah, Dana, you better start answering these questions. Because people, look, the boxing is a free market. That's what makes it great and special. It is. And you having the ability to go through and make it so that you can, once you reach that ceiling of greatness, the sky's the limit for what you can make. And big fights can draw monumental money. And historic fights can do what we see on Netflix. UFC couldn't do that. You know why? Because of the way that their pay structure is made. It's ridiculous. Yes, boxing has over 100 years of history back behind it. Absolutely. We get that. Even with the UFC, once you popped off, but you're on a decline. Why? Not just because the stars themselves are not as abundant or aging out. John Jones, Conor McGregor, Nurmagomedov, Kamaru Usman, Masvidal, Sugar Shane O'Malley, who again is competitive, but again, he's starting to go on a downtrend too. It ain't just because of that. It's because of how you have made your company. And it worked up until it didn't, because you had one side of the formula, but then not the other. And you could have had it all. And yeah, thank you, Jay Will. Thank you again. Izzy, again, on the decline as well. Alex Pereira. He just lost. Again, one loss doesn't make a fighter, absolutely. But, like, the whole reason why boxing and UFC were able to fight against each other was because boxing was messing up and the UFC was doing everything right and people were getting what they wanted from the UFC. So we talked about this on the channel. That's why the popularity grew. But my gosh, all of a sudden when boxing started doing what it was supposed to do, when boxing started doing half, a third of what the UFC was doing, what happened? 2023 to 2025, boxing is taking the world by storm, from the sense of all of a sudden having a back-to-life type moment. And it's gotten into the mind's eye. And they can't, and the only piece that they were missing was giving matchups against people that needed to get the matchups. But the money was there. you are trying to put the same restrictions on the UFC, or the same restrictions that you have financially on the UFC into boxing. It ain't gonna fly. We already talked about this sport being unforgiving. Guess what? We want boxers to get what they deserve. We want fighters to get what they deserve so they can live out a life worth living and be able to take care of whatever the world may happen in this ring that, again, you can lose your life in, as we had to lose their life this year. You are going to mess up this sport, or you're going to try. And if it don't work, and if you can't get the Ali app perform, guess what? The question's going to stand. You going to stay? Huh? You going to still do what you need to do? You going to keep on trying to make TKO essentially the TKO league a league to elevate prospect against prospect, and then whoever comes out the best of that, now you get rolled into the bigger picture, championships. You still gonna do that? That's the question. Because if not, you wasting space. I'm sorry, you're wasting space. Because if you try to control fighters like this, and it don't work, brother, your integrity gonna be tested. Your drive is gonna be tested. And your colors are gonna show. And it can backfire real quick. As quick as you got with Turkey, brother, he can kick you out. The sport, let me not say Turkey, the sport, get you out of here. Oh, it's still a good old boys network. From the sense of, look, if you trying to be a disruptor, if it works, you might get a slide. But if it don't work, you think Quisenberry, Matchroom, Eddie Hearn, Bob Arum, Al Heyman, Oscar De La Hoya, they're going to let you be able to do what you do? Nah. So you better gain a backbone and work for the fighter's best interest. Stop this mess with the Ali Act and just focus on doing what you said boxing was lacking, which is why you left the UFC, which was making the fighters that were the best fight against the best. You stick to that, guess what? The money will come. You don't have to worry about the pay. Because guess what? You're going to be able to make all that money back. That's all you're going to have to do. But if you're going to skirt around questions like that, like again, if you're going to run around from questions like you, William Skull and Devin Haney, guess what? The same ire they got going right directly to you, because you're doing the same thing. You're doing the same thing. It's a shame. It's a real shame, man. It's a real shame. But again, we want to discuss on that. Credit to Sean going out and asking the questions that need to be asked. This is real journalism. Because if we don't keep that, guess what? We lose what the sport's going to have. We lose what the sport needs. We need it. Keep on keeping their feet to the fire. Fighters and promoters, anybody, Turkey and all of them. I don't care who it is. Keep everybody in line for the sense of you better do what this sport needs to be done. And don't try to go and stifle the progress that's necessary. Because if you do, you're going to kill it. You're going to kill it. Keep their feet to the fire. Turkey and everybody else. Dana White and everybody else. And ain't a one-person thing. It's a group effort. Everybody, big or small, got to make sure that they keep them in check. Not just Turkey, not just Dana, but every promoter and every fighter. Because we want the sport to thrive, guess what? We got to make sure that we keep the main thing. Got to make sure that we do that. Because if not, it's going to be insane. But let me see. Love King, how you doing? Good to see you. I apologize for it. We had to address that because the door was open, so I took it. But let me see. Love King, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. We're so glad you're here on today. Let's go, Bud. Hey, we got some people supporting Bud on this fight. Yes, sir. We got everybody up in arms for who they're predicting. And again, I still want to keep on asking. You got a day? Is anybody changing their mind on who they think's going to win? Is anybody changing their mind on who do you think's going to win this fight? And Jay, will you say Canelo looked just as tall? Canelo did look just as tall. Canelo more than looked tall. Hey, they looked even keeled. And from the size discrepancy is not having the same weight and validity that we were making it out to be. Once I saw them, at least yesterday, face to face. Now again, we're gonna get a concrete thing when we see them in the weigh-in today. But for the sense of at this point, a day out, hey, it ain't looking too bad. For the sense of, hey, Crawford might not be the small, deficient fighter that we think he is going into this fight. But let me see. Agent, what's going on? How you doing? Good to see you. I'm going, bud. Hey, I feel you. I'm excited for it as well. I can't wait to see it. I might be in the area tomorrow. Hey, if you're in the area for the fight, hey, go ahead. Check and see. We can't wait to see it. Hopefully you enjoy it and you go through it and it's like you have some. Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, excuse me. I see the joke. My bad. Well, you know what? Don't do nothing wrong. Cause I tell you what, some of these things, if we're gonna go that route, we ain't a political show. We do talk about politics as they come up. If we want to go that route, we ain't gonna go that route. But I'm gonna say this: a lot of that regime ain't right. A lot of that regime ain't right. I promise you. And so I would stay away. I wouldn't do it. Do the right thing. That's all I can say. Do the right thing. That's all I can say. I do not support that. But let me keep on going in the world of sports. Warren Jones said Canelo looked away first at face-off, but as the mental edge. So this has been a thing constantly because when we look at over the history, looking away from a fighter is something that is a mental advantage. Like I said, one of the small things. We remember Usyk and Fury when they were staring down each other for 10 straight minutes. I think that was the longest stare down in history. In the lead up to the second fight, they went and they did not move a muscle. Fedora and all. Hat and all. I think he had it. I don't know what he had on during Tyson Fury. But brother, they stared each other down like they were looking to kill each other. It was ridiculous. It got me hyped for that. It was one of the greatest stare downs I've ever seen. It was one of the greatest stare downs I've ever seen. It was insane. I loved it. Because they understood. Both of them. But if you are gonna look away. It's a big deal. It gives me a boost and it might give you a negative boost. And for this fight, Crawford was staring that brother dead in his eye. In fact, let me see if I can pull up the stare down real quick. Let me see if I can pull up the stare down real quick to see what it looked like. Because I know when I'm talking about Bud was, I ain't never seen that. I ain't never seen the whiter Bud eyes ever. Oh my gosh. I ain't never seen the whites of Bud eyes ever. When it came to this stare down, and man, I've seen, and again, we've seen that brother attentive. This was, oh shoot, it was insane. Where's it? They ain't got video of the stare down. Hold on, wait a second. I thought I saw the ring show the stare down with them on stage. Don't tell me they don't have that highlight. They got to. They have to. They got it. They have to have the highlight. You just it. Nah, yeah, you can't see the eyes. Doggone it. It's wait, no, wait, here it is. Here it is. Okay, here it is. I'ma skip to the end. I'ma mute it. Because I'm not about to get copyright claim this time. I ain't having it.
For the first time, athletes were playing.
Storm the ring.
That ain't happening this time. Hold on, give me some. Hold on, I'm scrubbing. Hold on. I'm scrubbing trying to find it. I do apologize. I'm not trying to hold it up. I'm trying to legit find the stare down. Doggone it. Oh, they're making it difficult. Okay, you know, we'll pull it up later. But regardless of which, I was trying to find the video. We'll just use this. We'll use this one, and we'll use the straight up image for this fight because I thought they had the actual main camera stare down shown. They don't. So we're gonna go to the next best thing, and we're gonna go the route of just doing it this way. Everyone say, let me pull it up. There we go. All right. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna go this way. It should be. As you can see with the both of them, they chanting, they screaming. You see Shakur in the middle, and you see them going through it, and you see them carrying away. Now again, from this angle, you can't see Crawford's eyes. You can see Canelo. Canelo looks focused. Canelo looks driven. Canelo looks kind of like, I don't want to say going through the motions, but he looks like it's more so business as usual. Yes, he's acknowledged the grandeur of the fight, sure, but from the sense of trying to have that same energy that he had when they first had or in their second press conference like a couple of months ago when Bud walked him down and he was like, oh, I'm gonna remember that. It's kind of, I don't see that fire, but I do see again a confident, hey, I've been here before. I know what I'm doing. This is just going to be another instance that it's a big fight that I go and do my stuff. So yeah, composed, cool, collected, even keeled, determined, yes, but not like fiery. More so like, okay, yeah, I'm going to bring it out when I need to bring it out. That type of sentiment. But oh gosh, if I can find the main camera angle or the main camera side with Bud, I can show you. But I can do the picture for the time being. And look at this. I'm in great day.
Hey, look at this. We got some problems.
Hey, man.
We got some problems here.
Brother, look. Canelo's not psyched out at all. But like I said before, I've never seen the whites of Crawford's eyes. I've never. The only time I've seen this look was in the ring. When he sees somebody hurt. That's it. Brother, you see this, brother? You see the daggers this cat is throwing his way? Legit, and this ain't me I'm not trying to read too much into stuff. Trust me, I ain't trying to do that. I'm saying legit. This brother taking the instance of Usyk. He taking the Usyk Fury type of stare downs. This cat is like, yo, I'm gonna hurt you. I'm gonna get you. This isn't a game. This isn't going through the motions like we see somewhat in the body language of Canelo, which again, he's still determined. He's still driven. He's not scared, nor is he underestimating Crawford. But this is what the likes of this is what Crawford sees. He sees a man who you ain't as locked in as you need to be. But I'm on 10 already, and I'm telling you, even shaking hands, but I ain't changed my posture at all. I'm upright, and I'm looking you dead in your eye, and I'm showing you, you are not in here with your average brother. I'm telling you. This ain't me trying to read too much and just say, it's whatever, whoop-de-doo. Oh, I'm just trying to psych you out. No, I mean, this is belief. This is real belief. This is real belief. And also, I can't find the clip, but there was one thing that was wait, hold on. What I spell? What I spell? What I spell? I spell something wrong? You talking to me? Hold on, wait, time out. Wait a minute, hold on. Wait, hold on. Let me.
We got some problems here.
Ah, doggone it. Shoot. Yep, I did. I see. Ruben, thank you. I made like 6 versions of this thing. I was up late because I had gotten so excited for this fight. I was groggy, but I couldn't go to sleep. And I had made like a bunch of versions of this thumbnail. But it dang it. I've spelled some of the hardest names in the sport correctly. Yet I can't spell here. Okay. Let me Let me make that change real, real quick. Hey, look, like I said, we ain't perfect. This is a show. You're going to get as much authenticity as possible. Some stuff ain't going to be as done in as it's supposed to. Like I said, I'm my own filter. And so some stuff might pass through from time to time. All right. We should be good now. Oh boy. Okay, look, see, it's been a minute. It's been a minute since at least give me some credit. Last time I spelled something wrong on a thumbnail, it's been a hot minute. Okay, it's been a hot minute. I've been doing pretty good for myself for the past couple months. It takes a lot of work to do this, but we still got standards. If we're gonna be professional, We still gotta make sure we do what we do. I ain't got no issue with that. So it's thank you for telling me. I appreciate it. And thank you for tuning into the show. Hey, perfect timing. See, it don't matter when you come through. You come through and you let me know and you help me out with the show. So we appreciate it. Thank you so much. And it's, oh Lord. Man, that is that's funny. But thank you so much for helping me out. But let's keep on going. And let's try to get back on track. He said Canelo only has one way to win. He did. And also one of the questions at the end of that post-presser show was if the size of Canelo is not as dominant as we expect, all of a sudden, does that compromise his ability to really be able to be effective in beating the boxing of Crawford? Because almost everybody on that panel, Max Kellerman, Mike Coppinger, Roy Jones Jr., Lennox Lewis, even LaShawn McCoy, who, hey, I may have talked smack about him asking why he was on there. The brother ain't bad. The brother somewhat knows his stuff. He's a fan, and he really is a fan. I ain't got no issue with that. So, more power to him. But still, all of them were saying that, yeah, Crawford is the better boxer. Crawford is the smarter fighter. Crawford has the better range of skill sets and has been more dominant against all level of competition than Canelo thus far. And it has been a situation where the questions we've had in the boxing ability of Crawford have never been in question, unlike with Canelo, where we've been saying not just in age and speed he's been on the decline, but what he uses and what he has access to at this stage in his career is indeed a lot more less than what he used to have at 160 in the early days of 168. So it's a real concern. And again, I want to hear from you all. What do you all think this is valid? I'm going to say if that is the case, yeah, it's going to be some trouble. It is going to be some trouble for Canelo if he can't stifle Crawford's boxing with his power. It is going to be a time. I'm telling you. It's going to be a time. Boys, definitely Team Bud. Yes, he is. Face off right before the bell are the best former versus Lyle was since. Oh, yeah, it was. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's insane. It was insane to have. Also, you say it's on YouTube. Okay, let me. I'm going to try to find it on YouTube. I'll try to go through Twitter. I'll go find it on YouTube later on in the show. Let me see. Darvin Ham, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. So glad you're with us on today. How many rounds do you think Canelo goes in the fight? So, again, I have the fight going in an upset for Crawford by split decision. If Canelo does win, unanimous decision and or by KO in rounds, I think I said 9. I think I said 9 or 10. I think if the fight went every way that Canelo wanted it to. But it most likely will go to distance. Stamina is a factor, though. Stamina is a real factor, though. It's a real factor. It's a real factor that if Canelo does go into deep waters, my gosh, brother, what the world's going to happen? Ooh, buddy, it's going to be. Is he going to degrade in his output and with his breathing like he's done the past 4 fights in his career? Since coming back down from 175, which was a struggle from when he was at 175 when he fought Bivol. The output keeps on diminishing after round 6 or 7. Starts taking more pauses, more breaths. And if, in fact, we see this brother go be down on the cards once the middle of the fight comes into fruition, going into the later stages, that can get sketchy. That can get really sketchy for the likes of Canelo to be able to win this fight. So I'm excited for it. Anyway, Mike's to the weekend with an impressive KO against MJ, and we are going to talk about Anyway versus MJ. Boy, I got some thoughts. I think I'm more confident now that Anyway knocks out Akhmadali. I am. I still understand the threat, but I think I'm more confident than even I was yesterday. That Anyway gets his job done. He gets it done. He knocks him out. I can stand on that now. Had some unease. I think I put that to rest now. I'm seeing. I don't think Akhmadali's quick enough. With the timing can still be there. But it's going to be a lot. I think we're going to see Anyway catch on to Akhmadali's timing early. And we're going to see that brother really be able to adapt quick. Especially if he's going to train to not get caught with that left hook no more. At least as early on. And be more methodical with his pace of seeking and destroying you in a manner that rips away all of your limbs or all of your skill sets and makes them useless. That's what I think. So I think it's going to knock him out. Let me see. Yo, Triple A, what's going on, brother? Ascended Awakening, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in. Pull me up. I got some words. Hey, brother, I'm pulling everybody up right now, and I want to see what you got to say. That's why we chatting. Keep on sharing the show. We want to hear voices in the conversation. We want everybody involved to hear what you got to say on the whole matter, whether it's Anyway or Akhmadali or whether it's Crawford and Canelo. But yeah, let me hear what you got to say because I want to hear your words. No question about it. Let me see. Xavier Hall, I believe I said that name right. Thank you for joining in. Hopefully you're enjoying the show. I'm so glad you're here with us on today. People keep going with the narrative that Crawford is scared. Well, hey, look, I promise you, we ain't going through that narrative. But he ain't scared. Yes, we have acknowledged. He did say earlier in his career that them boys at 160, 168, boy, they hit too hard. He did say that. But it's also true that when he has said the limits of what he can do with his body, admitted that people like Benavidez and others at 168 are just too big for him to be able to beat, he made it clear that if there is somebody that I know I can beat, if I move up, it's Canelo. Not because it's just a payday. Yeah, it's big money, but legit, I know I can beat that guy. But I can't beat nobody else in the division. I know I can beat him. He had that sentiment, and he's held it, and he's acting on it. And we're going to find out if it's real. But ain't nothing scared about this, but I promise you that. I guarantee you about that. Let me see. Watch, I was reading Canelo Bud, live gate, third highest gate ever, only behind Floyd, Conor, and Floyd and Pacquiao. Yeah, that's what it's being projected to. We're going to find out on the night of the fight. But yeah, it's looking to be breaking records as one of the 3 biggest fights we have ever seen in history. Again, from the standpoint of monetized revenue, this puts the likes of Leonard versus Hagler to shame. From the standpoint of revenue. As the fight itself, no. Hagler versus Leonard is one of the 10 greatest fights we've ever seen in boxing history. Let me be clear on that. As a fight and the greatness of those two, it's one of the 10 greatest fights in history. However, from a monetary standpoint, this blows that out the water. Will it live up to the fight that was Hagler versus Hearns? Similar situation. Hagler being dominant at 160 with Leonard having a long layoff, fighting at 154, 3 years off, then going and fighting fighting Hagler at 160. The same stuff about everybody saying that Leonard was too small, couldn't fight, couldn't go and dominate, was going to get beat up. Turned into one of the greatest wars we've ever witnessed. Cementing and helping to cement that era of the 4 kings in boxing. It's legit, but this can be insane. This can be incredible. History might repeat itself yet again, and I can't wait to see it. I'm so excited for it. Let me see, Lord Edwards, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in to the show. Did you see the unofficial weigh-in? I did not. In fact, I think while I was scrolling through, we saw there was the I think that they did post. And I was finding that out as I was going live on the show. So, hey, we can look at it right now. I don't want to play spoiler, but doggone it, we got to find everything that we can on this show. Let's take a look at the unofficial weigh-ins, shall we? Come on, come on. Let's jump right in to the old picture-in-picture, and let's see what it's all about. With the first being Canelo versus Crawford. Canelo comes in at 167.75 pounds in the unofficial weigh-in. And this is what he looks like. This is what he looks like. Mean, lean, slimmer than we normally see from the standpoint of just outright bulky muscle. Cut up the kingdom come, abs going through. Looks
167 and a half.
Looks like he definitely looks like he's on weight. Again, he is on weight, but it's the rehydration is gonna start right after the fight with or right after the weigh-in ends. We're gonna see this butter party balloon up some more by the time the 9 o'clock at night happens. By the time 9 o'clock happens, gonna be fully rehydrated again. Where that
167 and a half.
No, but what we do know is currently right now, this is the Canelo that we're dealing with, and this is a Canelo that has a physique that we've seen before, like against Gennady Golovkin. Remember that first fight? And again, I finally got to go back and watch that first fight. Hey, Gennady should have won that first fight. The second fight, Canelo slimmed down.
167
Second fight
and a
was the
half.
fight that Canelo slimmed down, got more speed, which is why he was able to put on the performance that he did in that second fight, which again was still close and contested, but again, he got the victory. I believe, he got the victory. But this was part of the reason why, or part of the game plan shift. He went and sacrificed the muscle for the speed.
167
On the flip
and a
side,
half.
this is Terrence Crawford.
We got some problems here.
167 and a half.
This is Crawford. I don't know why the camera's fuzzing out.
Y'all seen that, right?
But this is Crawford, and then what was the weight? The weight was 167.5.
167 and a half.
They're the same size. They are legit. Both of them unofficially 168, 167.5. Right at the threshold of 168. So yeah, it's if you want to question what this butter looks like, take a look. If you want to question which physique is real, this is the physique that you get. This is the butt that you're getting on fight night. This is who is going to be across the ring against Canelo. And we can put that to bed. We can put it to bed that this bed might be out of shape, too big. It don't fit well. We can put that to bed right now. Now, what's going to happen on fight night? What will this muscle do? Bud said in the promo for the fight, hey, more muscle don't necessarily make you slower. It just makes you hit a little bit harder. His words, not mine. But it is a valid thing. If your body can handle it, hey, brother, this could be the best thing we've seen. And then Crawford just able to be like, yeah, I just hit hard, but I ain't lose nothing. And more importantly, the ab area right here, this is what's got me excited for this fight. This right here, this what got me excited for this fight. One of the biggest things about, will he be able to take the shots to the body? The headshots, I'm not as concerned with because of the defense of Crawford when he's on it. And he's going to be on it. Yes, if he gets cracked, sure, it can be dangerous. Absolutely, no question about that. But from the standpoint of where the bulk of the damage is going to be, that will make him succumb to the power of Canelo, would be the downstairs body attack. And this is looking mighty solid to be able to withstand whatever the word you want to do. Test the body if you want to. And Canelo's going to do it. And if he can take it, we got ourselves a fight. And let me tell you something right now. This is not what Charlo looked like when he came into the fight with Canelo. I told y'all it was going to be completely different. I told y'all this is not going to be Charlo versus Canelo 2.0. It's not. Charlo came into the fight 163, 164. Canelo came into the fight 168 on the button. I believe roughly around those weights. That's what the weight was for respect for each of them. But this man is weighing in literally the same weight as Canelo, unofficially. Officially, it's probably gonna be the same thing. Maybe 168 on the dot for each of them. Same weight. And when they rehydrate, who's to say that Bud doesn't potentially gain some more? Who's to say that Bud doesn't come into the fight hypothetically at 170? At 172? If his body can take it without losing anything. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen. Again, that's highly speculative. But at least we know from this image, whatever questions about if this man can really be able to be a super middleweight. If you look at them both, if I can get a clean picture of him on the scale, you look at them both, hey man, it's lined up to be a pretty good fight. I'm not gonna lie. It's lined up to be a pretty good fight. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm excited for it. And I just, everything's getting me excited for it. I can't wait to see it. I said split decision as well as or majority. Yep, I understand. Absolutely for Crawford. I completely feel you. Like I said, the chat split. We got people going left and right center with who they think's gonna win. Let me see. Bob, what's going on, man? How you doing? You can't change your pick now. You said Crawford by KO. Hey, I did. Well, actually, no. I said Crawford would win by decision and could get a win by KO. I was not ruling that out. I said I might say that even though it's a lofty goal, but I ultimately ended my prediction with I got Crawford in an upset decision win. Very close. But I'm not going to rule out that if Crawford is able to counter like I know he can do, that power can turn into a legit knockout. It's possible. It's unlikely, like I said before. But because of who we're dealing with, I know it's a possibility. I do know it's a possibility. If it don't vote true, hey, and I'm wrong, I ain't got no issue being wrong, but I'm excited for it. Who's broadcasting the Anyway fight in the States? It is Facebook Live. I repeat, it's Facebook Live. We got our answer. They posted yesterday. Facebook Live on Top Rank is going to be the ones live streaming the fight. And you can watch it for free. Just click the Facebook Live and you'll be able to see it on their page. That's who's going to be streaming the fight, so I'm excited for it. I can't wait to see it. Should have been on YouTube. It should have been on YouTube. But still, the second or third biggest platform that you can have in the standpoint of social media, hey, fine. We'll take it. Just know we can see it. That's all I've been asking for. Thank the Lord. Thank goodness. And so it's let me see. What are your thoughts on Dana White versus Sean Zeidel? I did say, I touched on that earlier. I'll say it quick. Sean was right. Should have pressed Dana. Dana needs to answer these questions. Because you taking away the Ali Act is horrible. So he needs to answer both of the questions. Is he going to keep on trying to do it? And if it fails, will he actually stay in the sport? He needs to answer those now. Because it affects the fighters. So Sean was right and keep on pressing them about it. And with Max and Canelo standing up for the sport, which is right. And he was right in that regard. Boxing is bigger than the UFC. But the UFC has been bigger than boxing over the past course of just about a decade. So Max is right in what he was saying, and Canelo is right in what he was saying as well. As the sport itself, yes, boxing's bigger. But as the recently, yes, UFC took over its boxing. It did. And it wasn't until we got the likes of, from 2023 on, that all of a sudden the comeback of fighting back against the UFC actually took place. Because Canelo's right, hey, but nothing's bigger than boxing. I mean, you got the World Cup, yeah. But when boxing's at its best, yeah, it's barely any sports that can touch it. Legit. That's true. Now, was Max a little bit overglazing? A little bit, but he was still valid in that response in terms of what he was trying to get, what he was trying to convey. Though it could have been a little bit different, at least in my perspective. But yeah, he was going to stand up for it, and I'm happy. Because, watch, that pressure is going to show you exactly why boxing as a sport is indeed the bigger sport. The weigh-in tomorrow is or today is gonna show you what. Oh, wait for that crowd. Oh, wait for that crowd. It's gonna be insane. It's gonna be phenomenal. Let me see, Keith Merchant, what's going on, man? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. Don't be surprised if you see Hitman versus Durant. Hey, wait, hold on now. Now, wait a minute. Ho. Hey, we don't want that. Hey, hey now, I hope that's not the case. With how this fight's being built, I hope not. Hey, who's going to be on the receipt? Is it going to be, is Crawford going to be Durant? Or is Crawford going to be Hearns? Which end of the spectrum we talking about? Who's going to be on what end? That's the issue. Oh, gosh. Oh, if he gets put out like that, that would be preposterous. That would be insane. That would be ridiculous. If it's on the other end of the spectrum and we see Crawford do that to Canelo, we already discussed what that legacy would be from the standpoint of where he would rank as a fighter. Oh, that'd be ridiculous. Whatever the case may be, I hope it's a war. I want an all-time classic. That's what we're all waiting on. Hopefully that's the case. Hopefully that is the case. Let me see. Yeah, I'm thinking he'll come in around 180, 182. Yep, okay, Albuga, I see what you're saying. 180, 182, I can see that. We could see Canelo come in maybe 185 if he really wants to go and throw his muscles around, but we have to wait and see. Bud is Super Saiyan 2, Team Go. And Canelo is second for himself. Bud about to win by TKO. If Bud wins by TKO, this would put him probably top 3 for a lot of people. It would. On top of the legacy of what this one would be, 3-time undisputed. You beat, and you can use the excuse that Canelo was older. Canelo has still been in it and still is in his prime. Regardless of what we want to say, we're not going to play revisionist history with either of these fighters. If Canelo wins, this is a great win against the pound-for-pound, third, second, or first, depending on how you have him, best fighter in the world, who was cleaning house against everybody. This deserves some real credit and credentials. If he goes through and loses to Crawford, guess what? He got beat by somebody that was defying odds his entire career and was able to go through and do one of the most insane things we've ever seen. And beating somebody that was that dominant at a bigger weight class who had been knocking people down and out. When he, in all honesty, didn't belong at 168. He's been a literal juggernaut of physicality as the smallest man in the division. That doesn't make any sense, yet it exists. So you're doggone right, this is going to be impressive on both ends of the spectrum, which is why I can't wait for it. Let me see, OG Blaze, what's going on? How you doing? Thank you for tuning in. Most people said Bud will come in light, like 164 to retain speed. He didn't do that. So he didn't come in light. But from the normal physique of Canelo, there is a legit look of a built for speed type of body. It's the same weight, but now it was molded differently in training. And most people can see that. He don't look like Bud looks big, buff. And I'm ready to go and absorb, and dish out some real level of power, which was the biggest question about him. Now, it's going to still be found out on fight night, but still, it's a valid thing. Canelo, he's still big and buff, but he's more cut than we've seen him. He's more, ripped. It's a more tight-knit type of muscle. It's not as big and bulky as we normally see him do when he's just walking like a wall up to his opponent. It looks more sleek. Still the same weight, but now it's molded in a different way to accommodate for potentially a different type of game plan. Will that happen? I don't know. We're going to find out. We will. Let me see. Vaughn Greenhill, how you doing? Good to see you. Crawford looks like a beast. Yes, he does. Crawford looks like, he looks insane. He looks insane. I'm so excited for it. Joshua Alexander, thank you for tuning into the show. Bud looks in dog shape. Yeah, man, he looks ripped. That cat looked like, those pictures were not lying. They weren't lying. Now, again, the muscle don't win the fight. It don't. But I tell you what, it's showing up help. It sure enough does help. So we're going to wait and see. Bud not dehydrated either. See, you hit the nail on the head. You hit the nail right on the head. This is the biggest thing. He don't look, he don't look drained, and or he doesn't look too overblown. Like, he doesn't look like he had to fight to get up here and stay up here. He's looking like, yeah, this is me, period. It's a comfortability. Remember, earlier in the year when this fight was announced, we were saying that part of the reason why the weight gain was dangerous wasn't just because of the echoes of what can happen with the likes of Roy Jones Jr. or even a Canelo when he moved up for the second time to 175 and he wasn't the same. Yes, Roy moved back down and the situation changed. That's absolutely understandable. But the context is similar from the sense of Canelo, or rather Crawford, gaining weight could take away aspects of his skill because now you're too big to do what you want to do. You're dealing with a new engine in the same chassis of a car. If you don't know how to handle that new engine, you're not going to be able to handle the car anymore. Because now, while it's the same body of the car, it's going to handle completely different. And if you don't know how to control that in your new environment, you're going to skid off the road easily. Because it's going to either be too much get up or it's going to be too sluggish for you to be able to make the turns that you need to go to get to where you need to be. This was the concern. It's looking like it's fine, but we're going to have to wait and see on night of the fight. But it is very promising. I'm going to say that. And so so we completely understand the body ain't everything, but it does help. I guarantee you. Canelo has never been this low of a favorite in his whole career. Vegas knows best. A lot of people are saying that people who are doing the odds, they know something. Now, it could be just because people have never seen Bud lose. It's hard to believe that it's going to see that he can actually get put down, and they're buying into the regression of Canelo as his career has gone on. That could be a big factor. All of a sudden, yeah, he is vulnerable. Hence, let's take advantage of it. So that could be why. It's insane. But don't take it as disrespect. This ain't a situation where we saying that Canelo's a bump. We know how good Canelo is. Because we know how good Crawford is. People are saying that's why the odds are the way that they are. Now, it could blow up in their face, no question. But the belief is there because it's been done before in a similar situation. Most of the stuff was said about Spence against Crawford, and Crawford shut everybody up in a way that made they couldn't speak bad on him if he tried. Because he beat a brother who everybody said was better, bigger, stronger, and higher on pound for pound in their eyes. Though for the majority of people had Crawford, top in pound for pound. There were arguments then that Spence was the best fighter in the division. There were. I remember. There were. And I'm telling you, he shut him up. And he made a believer out of a bunch of people. So that's why they're buying into this whole thing. I promise you, it's going to be great. What about those shoulders Canelo's going to target that every boxer has abs? That's nothing. And again, Turkey Al Sheik said himself, as well as Terrence Crawford, the rumors about the shoulder injury are false. Everybody's good to go. Now, again, we're going to find out after the fight. We are going to find out after the fight and in the fight. But as of right now, all we can do is just take their word and say, hey, Bud's been poking fun at it, saying that that's false. Multiple jabs about this, making jokes, but no, it ain't real. Turkey said it live. Right now, that's all we can really go on. If he is hurt, guess what? We're going to find out. We're going to find out if the shoulders are hurt. We will. I promise you we will. Let me see. Nerd, what's going on, brother? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. So glad to be with us on today. Like I said, MJ is no Krillin, and y'all will see. I'm not saying MJ is going to be a Krillin. It just gets dog walked. But I'm telling you right now, I am confident that anyway does beat him. Got more confident as the week is going on. But still, I know the threat. We're going to find out on Sunday. We're going to find out on Sunday. And I can't wait. It's going to be so exciting, man. It's going to be so exciting. But see, yeah, you were right. Won't be Bud. Won't be like Charlo. Bud's getting a knockout. And look, I picked it by decision with a knockout. That's a possibility. The reason why I'm saying that a knockout is possible, on top of the countering ability, the precision power, now with the body of Bud there, with the look of Canelo not just being streamlined for speed more than power, this could potentially open up the very situation that we said that Canelo, of everything else, can't afford to do, which was he cannot afford to have Crawford feel like he can take the power. He can't do that. If we remember, this was code red. We talked about it on the show. This was a code red situation that we talked about multiple times. If Crawford is actually able to say, hey, this power ain't what I expected, it's not as bad as y'all were talking about, like he did against Spence, you're gonna see a whole different Crawford. You're gonna see a disrespectful Crawford. You're gonna see a Crawford, okay, yeah, I can take every chance I want to try to get you out of here because I don't have to worry if you're gonna clip me and hurt me. That's how he's gonna feel. That's literally how he fights. And if he goes into that mode, all of a sudden I can box without tentativeness and I can brawl without remorse because I don't have to worry about what's going to come at me. And if this Canelo is indeed a Canelo that looks to be, well, he is the same weight, that looks to have built his muscle to be more inclined for speed than power. Hey, but hey now, the biggest advantage that Canelo has in this fight, all of a sudden in one shot, could be gone. You think I'm playing? I'm not, because we saw it before. The one punch made Charlo quit. And at the other end of the spectrum, one punch made Spence go down 5 times. What do I mean? When Canelo felt the power, or when Charlo felt the power of Canelo, he quit and didn't try. When Crawford felt the power of, at that point in time, the strongest fighter he had ever faced, in Spence, and he said, that's all you got. All of a sudden, it led to one of the greatest beatdowns we've ever seen because Crawford had nothing to worry about in his mind. What each go through is the manner in which one punch started and ended what that fight was going to be, because it either validated or invalidated exactly what they thought was going to happen in the fight. Part of the reason why Mike Tyson was so great, and somebody said this earlier, somebody said this in the chat, I think yesterday or this week. Tyson beat you before he got in the ring because you were scared of what your imagination, the fear. We talked about fear, didn't we? Didn't we talk about fear? Did we not talk about fear? How it can be used to go through and dominate opponents. Thomas gaining it because of what he's doing against all these fighters, sending shockwaves. People are getting concerned. Hey, this Bud is legit, and they ain't even in the ring with him yet. The identity of what you are before you even exist in front of them beats the opponent. George Foreman. People were scared to death of that man. The fear compounded when they said, oh my gosh, the power that I heard about, that I was already afraid of, it exists. Oh shoot. Sonny Liston, a master of fear. This is the identity of who you are when you're not in the room. Is one of the most powerful things that you can have in life, let alone in boxing. Your, not just reputation, your existence, being able to be felt when you're not there, is something that stands the test of time and can psych you out before you get there. That's what a lot of people have been propagated with Canelo in this fight. But if Crawford, who already isn't scared, all of a sudden feels that power and is not fazed, guess what? Oh, all bets are off now. Yeah, no. The only reason why I said that I'm not looking for the knockout is because I respect what Canelo is and who he is in the ring and how we have seen his power be. But if I feel it myself and my reality crashes down that I thought it was going to be better, bigger, stronger, you're going to see this, if you've never seen Terrence Crawford happy before, brother, you're going to see him smiling with the widest grin you've ever seen if Canelo's power underwhelms him. You're going to see that man, you're going to see the gums on that brother, how wide he's going to smile. You're going to see this cat go into an insane state of mind of, oh my gosh, I got him. He's going to be like a kid in the candy store. He's going to be like a kid in the candy store. He's going to be like saying, oh my gosh, this is what I've been waiting on. And he's going to try to take it to him. I can promise you that. I can promise you that. I can promise you that's what's going to happen. If we see that Canelo's power underwhelms him. It's not a guarantee, but boy, it's, whoo. It's a wide possibility. But you need to understand it's a valid thing that can happen. Absolutely. That's why, I can't wait for it. I can't wait for this fight so we can get all these questions answered, man. We can get all these questions answered. Let me see. Sean was pressing him. Yeah, he was. And it's a joy. It's a joy. Crawford going to be, so you're saying Crawford going to be Hearns and he going to put out Canelo. Like I said, man, that would be insane. That would be ridiculous. Hey, if it happens, we go. If it happens, come right here. Come right here to the show. We'll give you all the flowers that you need. We do that all the time. We ain't got no problem with that. We want to hear your thoughts. We want somebody to get it right. Because, hey, if you are, hey, man, we coming to you to see what you got next on this show. Oh, man. Let me see. Bud hit Majimov with clean shots, and they didn't do so much. How will he stop Crawford? Well, one, we have beaten this fight to death. As a quick side note, when I was watching that fight and rewatched it again, yes, the damage, again, Majimov did have a pretty decently beat up face from the sense of bruising. But again, some people bruise easy. But from the sense of clean shots that were affecting Majimov, at the later stages in the rounds where Majimov wasn't able to bounce around anymore. Similar to the situation with Virgil Ortiz. And Crawford was able to actually, okay, I can track you easier and start landing stuff without having to worry about the herky-jerky unpredictability. When they got to the inside, Crawford was getting the better of those exchanges. And when he was landing, there was a visceral reaction on Majimov. Now, it wasn't enough to be like, oh my gosh, he's going and he's down and out. He ain't wobbling all over the place. But he was feeling it. I can say that confidently. He was feeling it when those shots, when he wasn't able to move around like that and had to stand and bang with Crawford. Those short shots that he was starting to land, once he was really getting into the rhythm, hey, he was wincing. Not just because, a punch landed. There's some sting to it. We're not saying that, again, the knockout is a far out possibility, but it is something with his precision and with a different stylistic style, a different stylistic nature. Let me not do them double negatives. Let me not do a double negative. My gosh, grammar, come on, Jean-Luc, be better, man. But when it comes to the stylistic nature of Canelo, like I've said before, he is a lot easier to figure out than Majimov, but he is so much harder to beat because he's a better fighter. That's what we're dealing with. And again, that's what the more than just the style in which you fight. Now the mind is the biggest thing that Canelo has on top of his body. But the style, you know what's coming. It's just you can't stop it. Crawford, can he stop it? And doesn't know a way around it. That's the question. That's what we're going to have to wait and see. Crawford Kemp said he still has the speed. And I don't deny it. I don't deny it. If he does, guess what? He's gonna look for them counter windows. If he can see that he's got more speed than Canelo, those counters that I talked about, he's gonna look for. He's going to look to try to counter that left hook. You think I'm playing? I'm not. You think I'm playing? I'm not. He's going to try to, like I said in the full-blown breakdown, he's going to try to use the biggest weapon of Canelo and turn it against him. He's going to. He's going to. I guarantee, especially with how much he swings, and if he misses, it's a big miss. Oh, you better believe he sees that the kingdom come. And he's going to say, if I got a shot, I'm taking it. I just can't be afraid of what's coming at me. That's it. And we know he won't. Let me see, Mr. Miyagi, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. So glad you're with us on today. And the Errol Spence, in the Errol fight, Crawford was getting hit clean and he was on the ropes because Errol threw with Crawford, but didn't have enough weight to the shots to make a difference. Now, a little bit differently. More than, yes, there was a point in time when Spence did put his head down and try to rough up Crawford on the ropes. And he did land. The biggest shot of Spence this night was a clean left hook that caught Crawford flush, and he took it. Took it well. Didn't even buckle. But when Spence did get Crawford on the ropes, what happened? What happened? It was Spence that got knocked down. Why? Because of the countering ability. Everything that happened to Crawford, the little success that Spence had was stopped just like that because of the countering ability of Crawford. Caught him with a short uppercut and then a right hand. That further put him down. We're not trying to make up stories. Go back and watch the fight. The countering ability, as well as the anticipatory nature at which Crawford was looking to block what he was getting thrown at him. We talk about Canelo's high guard. Brother, when Crawford fought Spence, that high guard protected him from nearly everything that Spence was trying to throw. Extended gloves and all, hugging the face, and then boom, counter. Literally was implementing a catch and shoot style, as well as against some head movement. But he was using the high guard in a similar way we saw Canelo use it. And he used it to open up counters and be protective against Spence. And we saw what happened. That could be a tactic that he takes into this fight as well, because he's dealing with another huge puncher who has predictable tendencies. And especially with Canelo, is a less, well, hold on, let me rephrase that. Dealing with Canelo, who is more predictable from what we know he's going to throw at certain ranges. Hey, though we know the dominance of him at close range and at mid-range, it can still be a situation where Crawford has dealt with and knows how to get the better of you in those situations as well. Not saying he's going to, but I'm saying he's done it before. And he can do it again. Will he? Again, we're going to find out. And that's what makes it so exciting. And that's what makes this so exciting. I'm still trying to read through, and I'm just scrolling now. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss nobody. Let me see. Andrew Blackwater, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. So glad you're with us all today. Canelo versus Bud tells me Bivol versus Canelo tells me Canelo's going to destroy Bud. This whole, and the rest of the comment might have been cut off, but we'll use this for now. Bivol versus Canelo tells me Canelo's going to destroy Bud. Now, I want to know why. I would love to hear why. Because, again, that's a fight that he lost. And all of the flaws of Canelo that have still existed to this day with this version of Canelo were indeed put on blast in that fight with Bivol. Crawford is not Bivol, but he does have some of the similar advantages that he had, like with the 4+ inch reach. Though not the weight, though not the size, though not the durability that we expect, because, again, Bivol's naturally 175. We understand it. But into that vein, and how we know Crawford can be great on the outside and with his feet as well, which is what Bivol was able to be successful with. What is it about that fight that you saw that would make you think that Bivol and Canelo showed you why Canelo would lose. Showed you why Bud would lose to Canelo. Because the gas tank looked bad. He looked, when he was getting when Bebo was getting the better of him and he was getting winded, he relegated himself to trying to bait you by coming off the ropes. And Bebo was able to still score with that flowing offense while staying safe, getting away from the hook, then landing another 1-2 and then just keeping him on the outside. He was able to do that, and Canelo had no answer. And as the fight waned on, he kept having less and less and less of an answer. Some people say that he looked like he was just okay with losing by the time the later stages of the fight came around because he didn't really attempt to push anything once round, 10 came about. He just looked like, That's what the public's saying. So I would like to know what exactly you saw that would show that, yeah, Bud would lose to Canelo with that fight. If you want to talk about the arm punching that Bebo said, oh yeah, look at my arms, this Bud is strong. You want to talk about that? We can have that. No issue there. That's a valid thing. But outside of that, what exactly really from that specific fight showed you that Canelo would beat Crawford outside of, you see where Canelo has fought up at light heavyweight, and outside of Floyd, that's been the only brother to beat Canelo. Somebody who was bigger than almost everybody else in boxing from the standpoint of the weight classes right under heavyweight. Outside of that, I want to hear your thoughts, and I'm interested. But please, elaborate if you can. But let me keep on reading. Pilot, what's going on, brother? How you doing? Thank you for tuning into the show. We're so glad you're here with us on today. What you got to say? Bebo showed us Canelo can't box. He just beats you up your arms. Now, he can box. Be clear. He can box. Absolutely, he can. However, it's diminished. Very much diminished. And interestingly enough, we talked about how Canelo doesn't like movers and runners, which have been valid his entire career. But what we haven't talked about is that in that fight, what happened when he couldn't get on the inside? What happened when he wasn't able, not just to have success, but to get to the range that he wanted to get into against Bebo? All of a sudden, he was spending energy without any effect, and he gassed himself out quick, especially with those big swinging hooks that were either blocked or kept on missing. And once Bebo was able to withstand the onslaught of punishment on his guard, as well as use his feet to get out the way and make him miss some more, exacerbated the stamina problems of Canelo. And by round 7, dare I say by round 6, all of a sudden we were seeing Canelo look like a completely different man. A completely different man. And what happened, happened. If that happens again today, especially against a Terrence Crawford who's able to up the ante as the fight gets later, these are looking like some parallels to Tyson Fury and Usyk, ain't it? Looking like some parallels to Tyson Fury and Usyk. Bigger, heavier fighter going up against a smaller fighter coming up. All of a sudden, hey, this same brother who's got a great chin, who's been able to be better than everybody else in the division, has taken on killers, cementing himself in the annals of history, going up against a fighter that was called a middleweight or too small to do anything. All of a sudden, not only was Usyk able to box with Tyson Fury, but was able to out-brawl with him as well and beat him at the range that Fury was best accustomed to, which was the outside on both occasions, with a jab. And when the fight got late, Tyson Fury wasn't able to handle the added pressure that Usyk did when he turned it on to that 6th gear in the second half of the fight and got knocked down and then beaten. And then beaten again, more definitively the second time, with nearly the same blueprint, though refined with an even more effective approach. This is looking mighty similar to a story of old. I'll tell you, between Hagler Hearns and the situations, and on top of the fight that fight turned into, as well as the fight that we've seen today, or we've seen in today's modern era, Fury and Usyk, giving up weight, too big, he's gonna hurt you, he's too heavy for you, he's gonna be able to throw you around the ring. All of a sudden, that wasn't the case. Hey man, stuff is looking mighty similar. We getting flashbacks. We're starting to see some things. We're not saying it's gonna happen, but we're saying this formula's been done before. Eerily enough, with the same type of sentiment. Fury was declining in footwork. Fury never had as great footwork as Usyk, but especially at that point in time when he fought him. So it's, hey man, I'm excited. I'm excited. And I'm not trying to do any conspiracy or trying just to bloviate too much, but I can't ignore what history showed, past and present, when a similar thing happened, with a similar dichotomy of fighter versus fighter being in the ring. There's something there, man. There is something there. Crawford can get knocked out quick as lightning, and we all know that. Too many reckless chances put to sleep. But at the same time, the other end of the other end of the spectrum could happen. And the pitfalls of Canelo do indeed come back to bite him. Absolutely. 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 I'm telling you. Bud will walk down Canelo like he did Earl. That's another thing. But what if we don't see Canelo able to walk down Crawford? What if it turns into a mid-range, stand in the middle type of fight, where Bud's able to keep that mid-range area, but also never lets Canelo give ground and be able to operate comfortably without a care in the world once he does close the distance? Dare I say, if Canelo gets tired and starts needing a break and you attack him when he's trying to catch his breath, guess what? Canelo's on the back foot. We've seen it before. We have seen it before. And we've seen it ain't where he needs to be. We've seen it. It ain't where he wants to be. So I'm telling you, hey, more and more, we're excited because this is a real reality that can take place. But let me keep on reading. We have seen Iron Chin disappear. Just look at what happened to Joe Joyce, known for having a great chin until the second fight with Jake. Now, that's different. It's valid, but that's different. Because Joe Joyce didn't have any defense at all. His defense was eating shots. And if you keep on hitting the rock, yes, it's going to be that it breaks. What makes Canelo's chin great is, one, he protects it. And two, when you do catch him clean, he's able to take it because it is still fresh. Other people, you catch them clean, even when they fresh, they put to sleep. Amir Khan, perfect example. But when it comes to Canelo, he's both been able to eat punches from the best, but also has not let himself get caught consistently with shots over the years because he has been defensively sound. A good chin is, yes, if you can take it, but also a good chin is also if you can't get touched. Now, there hasn't been a tested chin, but Canelo's chin has both been tested and has been protected. Hence why, yeah, it's going to be tougher to knock him out because he doesn't have nearly as much wear and tear as from the sense of taking clean shots throughout his entire career. He ain't got nowhere close to the same wear and tear as Joe Joyce. Nowhere close. Because he's actually responsible. Hence why we're saying that chin is going to be a factor, because it still has retained its pristine ability. because it has not been open to the elements to be chipped away. But when you do chip away at it, it stands up. That's the thing. That's what makes it so special. So I don't think it's like Joe Joyce. Not at all. I don't think it's like that at all. Thankfully. Now it could. One shot could end it. Yeah, you get caught right. Yeah, you're doggone right. You get put down. You're doggone right. You get put down. You get caught clean. I don't care who you are. It's just the likelihood goes down when you are legitimately able to eat a shot. And you also protect your chin as well. So you don't belligerently open it up to getting chip up until, okay, too many chips, finally a crack came. Not off of a pinpoint shot, but off of the micro fractures that build up over time. Thankfully, Canelo has not dealt with that at all. Let me see. He's not worried about the chin. I think he'll go for the body. Yes, he will. Yes, he will. Yo, Fredo, what's going on, man? How you doing? This young brother gets to talking and watch out. Hey, man, I'm not trying. Hopefully, I'm thinking I'm making a pretty good beeline, keeping in line with the chat. So I'm not too far behind with what people are saying. But, like, y'all bringing up some good points. Hopefully, again, if you don't agree, I would love to hear your thoughts. Hopefully, I'm not drowning you out. Please, I do not want to be a guy that's just blowing smoke without any substance. Please, I would love to hear your thoughts on if you agree or disagree, or other viewpoints on the fight. And I give my opinions on it. I'm excited for it. I love it. I really do love it. No question about it. I really want to see what y'all got to say. The greatest achievement of Crawford's career was beating Spence, and that will also be his downfall. Now, I would love, let me see if you put this in the chat to further elaborate on this. If you would, put this in the chat and explain this. Cause I want to see where this goes from your thought process. I have a thought, but before I say it, I want to make sure I got where you're coming from. Real quick, if you would, explain exactly why the Spence fight is going to be the greatest thing he's done and the downfall for this fight with Canelo. I think I know where you're going, but just to be sure, if you would, put this in the chat so I can see more where you're going from. Because I think this can be good. This can be really good to talk about, but I'm trying to see exactly what it is that you're saying. So I'm not jumping to conclusions. But again, we'll wait and see. Canelo will realize that you can't go from 10 years of not using foot speed, not using weights in the head movement, or really technique in general, to tomorrow train it for one Kentwood versus Butt. That is a concern. Now, Canelo says he hasn't needed to use any of that stuff because it wasn't necessary for the opponents that he fought. Now, the opponents that he fought weren't great. Remember, we hated the opponents that he had for the last 5 fights. 1, because they were not David Benavidez. And 2, from the standpoint of who got in the ring with him. You did not choose the best competition. You didn't. You didn't. We've gone through all 5 names and the context behind each. They weren't great. And it's been a valid concern. Yes, he's dominated the division and beaten just about everybody. But even still, it ain't been pretty. And even against those that are not on your level. Just like when Terrence Crawford said, I need to get back to boxing because I haven't cared about getting hit. Canelo, to some degree, has been the same thing. Not necessarily not caring about getting hit, but more so going through the motions and doing the more rudimentary dominant style. Walk and stalk, catch and shoot, not really a bunch of the technical stuff that he used to do. For both of them, it can be a problem. It can be a problem. For both of them, it can be a problem. Now, we've seen Crawford go back to boxing a little bit more, going up against the likes of Madrimov because he had to. So he's at least repped up that in that regard of, okay, being more dedicated to trying to stop, block, and being aware of what's coming at me. Doing the more smaller technical stuff, Canelo ain't been the case. If anything, every fight has gotten more and more aggressive in the small things in boxing that he used to do. Will that bite him in the butt? That's the answer. That's what we're trying to find out. That's the thing. And and see, yeah, I noticed as well that Canelo only moves his head and not his feet. Yeah, like I said, he's more of a plotter than anything else right now at this stage in his career. So you are right about that. And even with his head movement, it's not as used nor as refined as it used to be. Not getting him away from the same stuff like it used to in the past. That can be a concern. Let me see. Going through right now. Canelo is not similar to Fury at all. Canelo never fought a MMA novice, got dropped, and narrowly escaped the decision. No, not from that regard. Yeah, you're right. I'm talking about from the standpoint of the same issues that we went, and mind you, even before that whole saga that I was saying was going to come about, those same issues came up when the night of the fight came. We've seen you regress. We've seen you use less footwork. We've seen you change your style since Wilder, which is great. But at the same time, that has worked on an era that's been slow, not nearly as skilled, size and power trumps all type of boxing era in the heavyweight world. You are a good boxer. So you've been able to do whatever you wanted against everybody else. Now you're going up against a great boxer. And a good boxer with elite size, like I've said, can lose to a great boxer or to an elite boxer with good size, as we saw what happened. And because we've been saying that Canelo's skills have downgraded, while Crawford's, for the most part, we've been saying hasn't had nearly as much of a hit since he's been dominant at 175, won championship at 154, and being 38 years old. We're saying that if that's the case, there is a parallel between that Usyk fight and Fury that can come about in this same scenario. Though the gap ain't as big in terms of physicality, some of the same stuff is being aired out as to why this is going to be a win for Canelo. Some of those same stuff, because of legitimately better elite skill, was able to be nullified and beaten out of Tyson Fury. That's what we're saying can happen in this fight. That's where the comparisons lie. But no, not in the vein that now it was almost the case. If we want to talk about fighting a MMA novice, MMA champion, but a boxing novice, it was almost the case with Canelo as well. Because if Turkey didn't give him I think it was over $150 to $200 million deal with Riyadh season to take these types of fights. Skull, Crawford, and he's got a third fight lined up. He would have taken on Jake Paul. Yes, that was almost agreed upon. So he almost went that way as well. Just so we keep everything on 100, so we know the full context. But let me keep on reading. Canelo is light years ahead. Canelo is light years away from being one of the best Mexican fighters. Salvador Sanchez, by age 23, had already beaten 5 Hall of Famers, had 41 pro fights, pro bouts, and had already beaten the PR's #1 pound-for-pound fighter and more. You're right. And like I said, he probably would have achieved so much stuff. We touched on this before with Salvador Sanchez. Incredible fighter, but I wish his life had not gotten cut short, because oh my gosh, what he would have done would have been stupid in the greatest way possible. The greatness he would have been able to achieve was so phenomenal. Tyson said it best. That man was a monster. If you fought with him, but you weren't on his level, you could go the distance. But if you were on his level, you weren't making it out the end of the fight. Tyson said that, and this man who has studied every killer in the book. Man, it's a shame. And between him and Julio Cesar Chavez, yeah, it's one of the two that's the greatest we've ever seen in the Mexican populace that represent and define the very culture and style of the Mexican people and Mexican boxers as a whole. We love it. I have Canelo as top 3. I got him as top 3. If he wants to get to number one, it's not just this win. I've been saying this for multiple years. He has to fight David Benavidez. He has to. He's already had a Hall of Fame resume. He's faced off against many people, absolutely. We're not questioning that. We're not questioning his greatness. But again, part of that thing, like I said before, everybody's got that one fight that is not negotiable. Everybody that was great had one fight that was not negotiable. Wasn't you can't be where you want to be unless you fight this one person. You can't. For some people, it's two. For Canelo, the first one, Gennady Golovkin. Second one is David Benavidez. He has to take on those two. Has to. To move up or down. He's got to. And now with David Benavidez being where he is right now, it's not negotiable. It ain't. If you don't fight him, it's going to be a hit on your legacy and you won't be able to move up above any of them. Whoever you have is number one. Well, you won't be able to. That's why this fight is important and impactful. If he loses this, it's going to further hurt the argument, like we see right now. He'll definitely never be able to get to that level if he loses, unless he goes on a ridiculous run after this fight with Crawford if he loses. But even if he wins, status quo for that metric stays the same. He fights Benavidez and beats him. Now we get into those conversations. Some people already have him as the best Mexican boxer ever. I don't necessarily agree, but that's a whole nother conversation. Regardless of which, he's in that conversation and deserves to be there. But he's got to win this fight and then fight Benavidez. You got to. There's no excuse. Without that, you can't get to where you want to go. That's where I've held, at least for my thing. And I'm sticking to it up until something happens. But let me see. Yo, Mike Huncho, what's going on, man? How you doing? Thank you for tuning into the show. Good to see you. Appreciate you tuning in. I'm so happy that you're here with us on today. Let me see exactly what you got to say on. You just got saying what's up. I'm glad to hear. Thank you for tuning in. And again, shameless plug. If you're here, please leave a like on the stream. Keep on commenting, keep on sharing the show, keep on hitting the notification bell. Come join the empire. Come be a part of this great show. The hottest show on all the globe. You can't get nobody than this show right here. And if you want to support the show, again, it's still my bro. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me make sure I don't knock nothing down. But it's still my birthday week. Yes, sir. We still celebrating. We still thriving. We still going and we having fun all week long. And if you want to give the show your boy some love, not just with the subscriptions, but hey, if you want to give to the show and help make this show better and better, help keep the lights on. Yeah, right now it's my job, so it's the best thing I can do, and I can't do this without you. While we're getting monetization, Cash App and PayPal, links down below in the description. If you would, anything will do, and will mean the world to me, and we can make this community great and so special, all with you and your support. So please, help me make this possible. And if you can't give, please give. If you can't, sticking around and enjoying, and just tell everybody about the show to help build this empire together. And we can make it happen, and we can be great. No question about it. But let me keep on reading what you all have to say. I wonder what the third fight is. What's your guess? Or in terms of for Canelo? Now, that's a great question. Lord knows I'm hoping it's Benavidez. I'm hoping. If we see Benavidez beat Anthony Yard, and we see Canelo beat Crawford, and we see Canelo lose to Crawford, you're doggone right. I say, don't waste no more time. Don't waste another second. Fight Benavidez. Fight him at 175 for his title. Do it. Forget trying to hold on. He just said in the press conference that, hey, I'll fight anybody. When he got pressed about the fight with David Benavidez, he's been saying he ain't been worth nothing. He ain't done nothing. He isn't anything. It isn't big enough for him. But that's the only fighter people want to see him fight. So guess what? He's big enough. And if we think that this fight with Crawford and Canelo is huge, brother, you let that fight, let Benavidez walk into the ring. And Canelo accept a challenge at 175 for the light heavyweight championship. Let that happen. Watch the country of Mexico divulge into nothing but insanity in the best way possible. Because they will go through an absolute, it will be a year-long buildup. I wouldn't be surprised if it broke this fight record with Crawford and Canelo. I wouldn't be surprised. You make that fight happen. You make that fight happen Monday. You announce that fight at the end. No, not even Monday. You announce that fight at the end of the fight on Saturday, regardless of the result. Brother, that fight will break this fight record. That fight will break this fight record. You doggone right. I say I wanted to be David Benavidez. That's number one. After that, Shiraz. Probably. Or Christian and Billy. Shiraz or Christian and Billy will probably be the third fight that will go through. I'm hoping it's Benavidez over everything. After that, and Billy's been at number one contendership for a while, we'll think he deserved a shot, but also Shiraz is number one contender, mandatory. I would have Billy and Shiraz fight each other. Winner of that, they get Canelo. That's what I would do. And then take out the guesswork and just make it happen. And yes, Canelo needs to pass the torch. It's not, again, passing the torch can come in a multitude of ways. Passing the torch isn't always losing. And okay, you lost to a better fighter. That's normally how it happens. You can pass the torch by giving, the seal of approval. Yeah, this guy's up next, while still being undefeated. It's possible. Sugar Ray Robinson was still, he passed the torch, but not through losing in the ring. He passed the torch by helping out the sport as the sport went on once he retired. But he was still the biggest thing since sliced bread, even when he was at the last stage of his career. Even with losses on his resume. Passing the torch is more so, you keep the fire going, even if you can't be beat. And you keep setting the example by taking on the young competition. You keep doing it. And then when you do wrap it up, guess what? You go through and you support those coming behind. You push for the sport to be better. You call for these things of greatness, fighting greatness. And whoever takes that mantle after that, guess what? They're the it guy. Then the torch got passed. It did. And so that's what we're waiting on. Whether Canelo wins or loses or not, passing the torch is more than just if he wins or loses the fight. It's what he does in the sport afterwards. Somebody loses, if somebody beats him, they take it. If he doesn't lose, guess what? He can still push the sport to go in the direction to naturally get the next guy. When Ali retired, Larry Holmes was dominating. Naturally, he was the next it guy. Even though he wasn't taking the world by storm, he was the next it guy in the heavyweight world. He beat Ali, yes, but if he never beat Ali, he still would have been just about as dominant because he was just that good. And then the man who encapsulated the whole of the globe, like Ali, Mike Tyson, came afterwards. Boom, it did it to itself. And Ali was still there connecting with these fighters, connecting with Holmes, connecting and calling Tyson, telling him, hey, get him back for me. And Tyson was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Doggone it, he did it. There's multiple ways to pass the torch. But it's about you keeping to try to fight everybody that you can. More so keeping consistent. And when you're out in the sport, even if you don't get beat, you still edify the sport. Floyd did it with Gervonta Davis. Helped him become, that was the next hit guy in the sport, top 3. But who ultimately took the torch of the face of boxing? Canelo. And Canelo was a guy that Floyd beat. You see how it goes? It's a natural progression. But let me keep on reading. Bud has everything to gain and nothing to lose with Bud is all. With Canelo, it's a different story. If Canelo fights Benavidez, okay, Crawford does have something to lose. And it's going to be that people are going to say that if he loses to Canelo, hey, see, I told you, you never had any elite names on your resume. Whoop-de-doo. It's going to be like that. You weren't really as great as we thought. They're going to try to say that. Now, that's not true, but they're going to try to say that. And the era of invincibility will be cracked. It will. But it's a lot less to lose than Canelo. You're doggone right about that. You are doggone right about that. It's a lot less to lose than Canelo. You no question about that. If Canelo fights Benavidez next, he will earn my utmost respect forever. Win or lose, he will show he's a real one. That's all we're asking for. That's literally all we're asking for. We don't care if Canelo wins or loses. It's a fight that needs to happen for both of their legacies and for history as a whole. To go without them two fighting is like going without Ali and Frazier ever fighting each other. To go without them two fighting is like we never got Pacquiao and Floyd. It's like that. It is again a necessary step that never got taken. We can't have an era where that goes out the window. We got to have it happen. We have to have it happen. We need it. It's like we needed Usyk versus Fury. We need it. Just like we still need Fury versus AJ. Fury versus Wilder. We need that fight just to happen so we can have the question answered. It's got to happen. Has to. Oh, it's got to. Yeah, but if he fights Benavidez next, or at least after, I will respect him. And that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing. It's a respect thing. It's a respect thing. And it's because of the rhetoric that he said for oh so long. Remember the conversations that Canelo has said over the years. He has said, I'm not afraid of anybody. I will fight anybody. Then afterwards it said, I am not fighting a Mexican fighter solely because I am here to edify and bring our people together, and us fighting against each other goes against that creed. Which, again, if that's how you feel or felt, I will respect it. But at the same time, and excuse me, before I continue this, hold on, wait a minute. Trying to make sure I'm level. Okay, I'm level. Just a quick thing. But at the same time, the core of Mexican pride in terms of in the boxing world has been Mexicans fighting against each other. And it's never been a negative thing. But it's been because, hey, we're both warriors and we want to give you a show. We want to give you everything we got. It's a beautiful thing. It's a necessary thing. It is a wanted thing by the people. And you holding that sentiment, well, again, if that's what you said, I respect it. Or excuse me, that is what you said, so I respected it. But at the same time, that is going against the very creed of what Viva Mexico represents. I mean, Mexican fights have brought people together. It's not a bad thing that y'all fighting. It's wanted by the public. And to then afterwards go and fight Jaime Munguia.
Hey, look at this. We got the problems here. We got the problems here.
You fight Jaime Munguia, but you had all that stuff saying that you don't want to fight Mexican versus Mexican? Or that ethnicity because it takes away from the sport. Again, hypocrisy. It was hypocritical. It is hypocritical. And then we finally saw what this was for real. An excuse to not fight David Benavidez. It was an excuse. It was an excuse. And now he's backed into a corner. There's nowhere else for Canelo to go. Let me be clear about that. You got Shiraz and Christian and Billy. After that, who? Quote the New Day. Who? You have two fighters left that are competitive in the world of boxing. After that, what the world can you do? What can you do? What can you do afterwards to fight to fight anybody at 168? You ain't rematching Caleb Plant. There's no point in fighting Boo Boo Andre now. You ain't fighting Charlo. Jamal Charlo, moving up to 168. He's still got a long way to go. People ain't clamoring for that fight for good reason. You ain't rematching Jamel, because if you did that, you'll be going backwards. Who else is there? Berlanga, don't give him a rematch. He got put to sleep, and he got put down by you. You ain't going to fight B-Ball again because that's what, 175, and you lost to the brother. And he just had surgery. You will never fight Archer Beterbiev. We know that for a fact because you'll get destroyed. So now, what else is there except for David Benavidez at a catch weight for his belt? It makes all the sense in the world. It makes all the sense in the world. Look, Chris Eubanks Jr. After the war that he had with Conor Benn, that could be something. They're about to rematch again. That could be something, but it's not. Again, with all due respect, it's not nearly as highly clamored, and everybody's saying the same thing. Canelo would beat him. Most likely. Most likely. I'm not saying this to be derogatory against the public. But I'm saying this because the reality of the situation, there ain't many ways that he can go that can get people up for a fight and get them excited. You'll have your swaths of fans, yes. But all of this is still avoiding the big elephant in the room. And how much longer are we going to let this elephant slide away before we finally get what we need, which is Canelo versus Benavidez at their best? We don't want this to be a Floyd situation and it goes too long without that fight happening, and we don't see them when they fought each other when they were both as close to their primes as possible. We don't want that. And we have continued to say, or at least I've continued to say, if Benavidez does not fight Canelo, the longer Canelo waits out Benavidez, the less likely Canelo is to beat David Benavidez. So you better fight him now. That's what we've been saying. That's what I've been saying. Let me rephrase it. That's what I've been saying. So it's got to happen. It needs to happen. Sooner rather than later. All those other fights are absolutely necessary. Sure. No, it was outside of the Charlo one. And the other Charlo one. Most of those fights, yes, they can still happen and should happen. But I can't prioritize them. I can't. Over what I need to see before it's gone too late. Just like with Archer Beterbiev and Bebo, we need to see that trilogy. If Bebo didn't fight him for the trilogy, or didn't fight Benavidez to go for the trilogy, we need to see that trilogy as quickly as possible. As soon as Bebo can actually get in the ring. And if Archer Beterbiev keeps on winning, yeah, we need to see that fight. Because we don't know when the bottom's going to fall from Beterbiev. And now with the surgery, brother, it might be that Bebo might not be the same fighter anymore. Who knows? Yes, it was to help him out, but it could potentially be, the surgery went bad. The recovery didn't go like it needed to. Something's different. He ain't the same. Looked like he lost a whole bunch of muscle, or at least a whole bunch of weight, in lieu of this surgery. How he recovers, we got to wait and see. But we don't want it to be that I waited too long to make it happen. Should have happened earlier. We don't want that. That's all I'm saying. We don't want that. We cannot have that. Because if we do, it's going to have too many answers unanswered. Well, it's going to have too many questions unanswered. And it can be bad. It can be really bad. Let me see. Justin. Hey, man. What's going on, brother? How you doing? Good to see you. Glad you're back. Glad you're here. Can't wait to see what you got to say on today. We appreciate you coming through. And again, I'm skipping. I'm going up and down, trying to make sure I catch everybody. And let me see, Jay Will, you brought. I saw your chat afterward. My apologies, but yes, Chris Eubanks as well. Hamza, I brought him up. Now, what was it? I think somebody said Iglesias. Was it Iglesias? Yeah, Iglesias. I forgot to bring him up. You're right. Mandatory. Absolutely. Like I said, he does have names. The biggest thing was, just again, tie a bow on it. Having and making sure we don't let the fight that we want to see go out too long. Especially when we've seen Canelo make decisions, drop belts to go another direction. So he can still do what he wants. Don't forget that. We got to make sure that we push him to do what we want. Because it's the betterment for him. But that's the thing. So he does have options. Be clear. He does have a plethora of options. Absolutely. But we can't let the main thing get away from us over everything else. And with the understanding of looking back at history and seeing how mandatories have not mattered in the light of Canelo when he wants to make a certain decision. He can do that same thing and force a fight with Benavidez. Because he's done it before with other situations. He's given up belts to take on other challenges. He's been able to hold on to belts because even as a mandatory, the commissions never activated said mandatory to let him run around with the belts and do what he wants. So he's got the room. He's got the space by everybody, the leeway by everybody to make whatever decision he wants to make. Make the right decision before you wait around too long. And by the time you make that decision to fight Benavidez, now you're too far regressed and he's gotten too far talented for you to be able to catch up. And now you would have beat him potentially if you had fought him early. But you waited too long. That's my biggest thing. Let me see. Canelo ain't done. He got 1 or 2 more year run in him. I hope so. I would assume so. I know he's got 1 more guaranteed fight under Turkey. After that, he'll probably, again, he's 36. Crawford's 38. I can see Canelo fight until like 39. As long as he's got the fire to want to fight, yeah, he'll still want to do it. No question about it. If Canelo does fight him, it has to be now. Totally agree. Yeah, that's the thing. It's not about just a options standpoint. It is a time-sensitive issue. It's a time-sensitive issue. And we just don't want time to pass us by. That's the biggest thing. That's all we are saying. We just don't want time to pass us by. Because we don't want to be asking, man, I wish I had seen it. Or, I wish, like with Pacquiao, I wish they had fought 5 years early. Man, I wish. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And again, I'm still going through. I'm looking through to see if there's any more updates on the fight. Any more updates on stuff going on. I'm trying to make sure we can, again, it's still you all's conversation. You all are still driving the conversation for this show. It's still the championship rounds. Let me be perfectly clear. You all can dictate whatever we go, whatever we say, whatever you want to discuss, whatever questions or comments you want to say. It is still you all's time to shine. As I'm drinking some coffee. To be able to say whatever you like, to have your opinion be heard, and whatever you want me to discuss, we can discuss it right here on the show. Let me see. The Bud Crawford era. Oh, let me see. Nick, what's going on, man? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. Let's see what you got to say on today. Bud Crawford era. Bud will make Canelo look ordinary. That's a it's a possibility. My gosh, if that does happen. Again, like we've touched on before, it's not just the win that would be great, but the severity of the win that really is going to make and move people out the way when it comes to this pantheon of greatness that we're putting Crawford on, which he deserves. Just winning against Canelo at this stage in his career with who Canelo is right now would put him, for most people, top 10 greatest fighters in history. At least that's what the conversation has been. If you don't have him there, that's fine. Just winning alone, for most people, are putting him on that pedestal. Because this will be the first time we've ever seen somebody from 147 naked, or excuse me, somebody from 147, or somebody, I'm sorry. First time we've seen somebody who started at 135, became undisputed, then became undisputed again at 147, and then won a championship at 154, and from 154, without a tune-up or any sort of waiting period, move up not to 160, but to 168 pounds and fight definitively, not just the best at that point in time, but one of the best we've ever seen in the history of boxing for that division in the whole of the sport, while they're still existing in their prime. We've never seen somebody make that big of a jump naked, without any tune-up, without any waiting period, without any form of getting your feet wet, even fighting at the division below. We've never seen that. And he goes and he beats them. That alone is historic. If he dominates them, that will add to the preposterous nature of this win. And if he knocked him out ultimately, it would be the most unexpected, unlikely, and also to execute. It is the hardest possible outcome that Canelo or that Crawford could achieve in the biggest setting. He does that for most people with everything revolving around what this fight is and how Crawford is already being talked about now, and the ramifications of just the win alone would push him to that stratosphere. You will get talks that Crawford is better than Floyd. You will get talks that Crawford is top 3. You will get talks that Crawford is number 1 in the history of this sport. You're going to. You may not agree with it, but it's going to happen. And you're going to get those conversations. Now, I'm of the top 10 caliber if he gets this win. He's got a conversation for that. Somebody's getting bounced. Remember, I said that. Somebody's getting bounced from the top 10. If he knocks him out, that's a whole nother conversation that I've talked about, but I haven't even gotten to sit down and really think. If he does knock out this brother, what the world would that do for him and his legacy? I'm still trying to wrap my head around where I would have to put him at if he does that. That's a whole nother can of worms. But I'm telling you, those conversations are going to be valid to have because it would be that great. It would be that great. It would be that preposterous. Look at me. Suleiman, President Mauricio Suleiman. Also, I ain't say hi to MS. Yo, MS, what's going on, brother? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. Appreciate you coming in on the live. Let me see what you got to say. Mauricio Suleiman, president of the WBO, was asked point blank by ProBox TV, host and ProBox TV host Marquez, in an interview about why the WBO has protected Canelo, who mandatorized or Canelo without mandatorizing, and Suleiman accused them of hating on him. They're avoiding the question. We covered this over a year ago. He activates mandatories. We even played the clip of Showbiz the Adult asking Benavidez from one of his fans why, in fact, that fight didn't happen. And Benavidez says, when the WBO finally made me mandatory, after 3+ years, Canelo's side showed no investment at all in actively coming to the table to try to negotiate with that 30-day window of attempting to go through and actually make the fight. They had no part, and I wasn't wasting time. But all of this could have been alleviated if you had made me the mandatory once I did become the mandatory. If you had activated it early, All of this stuff about me outgrowing the division, making my own legacy because this man ain't trying. You could have put the pressure on him earlier, but you never did. And you let him get comfortable with, okay, yeah, I don't have to try. Because, and again, this isn't what David Benavidez said. This is now my opinion. To be clear, my opinion, and we're going into my opinion now. If in fact the WBC or WBO had actually activated David Benavidez and he accepted it, and the 30-day window went out the window, like it most likely would have, without a deal coming to fruition, I got to ask a real question. Would they have even stripped Canelo of the belt? We know the IBF did. Because they don't, again, they might be picky and choosy with who they let hold the belt and who don't. They let Spence hold the belt for a number of years without defending it against a mandatory. The second Crawford got the belt, what happened? They forced him to fight a guy who wasn't Spence when it was already said he was going to have a rematch with Spence. Boom. Undisputed status done away with. Usyk stripped him. Right when they knew that there was a rematch with Tyson Fury for the undisputed title if Usyk won, and they just stripped him right out. They're hypocritical in a whole nother fashion. But at least when they put their foot down, they do put their foot down with who they strip. WB, completely a little bit different. Would they have even stripped him of the belt if the period went away? Or would they have made another championship to keep Canelo as, quote unquote, undisputed? A legacy belt, whatever the case may be. Like they always do. It's a problem. And we need to keep on pressing them. We need to keep on pressing them. Got to. Because I'm interested to see who the world is the WBO champ. Who is the WBO number one contender right now? Is it, let me see, WBO, mandatory. Super middle. Oh, excuse me, behind Crawford. Because right now, I'm looking. Is this right? Wait, hold on. Okay, all right, so it's looking like, I'm going to make sure I got this right. Canelo got moved into, or Crawford got moved into number one mandatory. And I think after that, now it's Christian and Billy for the WBO. Am I right on that? Hold on, I'm checking again. I'm validating. Because I'm reading it now. June 22nd, 2025. Yep, in response to Crawford's installation for being number one contender for the WBO championship. They got a 5-page document where I think they said yes, they agreed. So they made Crawford the WBO champion in this fight, or WBO number one contender. After this, who the word is it for that's behind him? I think it's Christian and Billy. Yeah, I think it's in Billy for the WBO. So, will he get his mandatory shot activated if, in fact, Canelo does win? Because I think Shiraz has the IBF mandatory. But I believe it will fall back to Billy as the number one contender from Canelo after this fight with Canelo. If we see Canelo beat Terrence Crawford, I think that's how it works. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But still, will they activate it in? Because again, hypocrisy at its finest. It's a terrible thing. And Michio ducked the question and accused him of hating. Yeah, again, Dana White did the same thing, trying to show up and show out. But this is journalism. This is why we ask these questions, because we got to make sure, are you messing up? And why are you messing up? See, we wouldn't have to, stuff like this wouldn't have to be asked if corruption wasn't abound. You see, it's real easy. If corruption wasn't there, we wouldn't have to ask the question. We can keep it just to in-ring, but we can't. You know why? Because corruption abounds. It exists. It compounds. It's a shame. It's a shame. And I'm sorry. J. Will, thank you for correcting me. You said this earlier in the chat, and it completes my mind. Yes, IBF is Iglesias. Wait. Hold on. No. So I was wrong. I'm sorry. So I was wrong. Iglesias, IBF mandatory. Yes, because he just had a knockout. Yeah. Y'all right. You're right. Y'all are right. Iglesias, IBF mandatory, because he just got a knockout and he got announced as such. So does that mean that Shiraz is the WBO mandatory, or is he the WBA mandatory? I know he won a mandatory spot. Hamza. Shiraz. Okay, so Shiraz is a WBC. So my apologies. Shiraz is a WBC super middleweight mandatory or #1 contender. One that also was said after Edgar Berlanga. And well, now see, I'm trying to read and make sure. Okay, so So Shiraz, WBC #1 mandatory. Glacius, IBF mandatory, which is great. Now, at the same time, I'm gonna show you my screen right now. I'm reading this. WBC president wants to pitch Shiraz and Christian and Billy to determine contender for Canelo's 168-pound title. And this was written in 2 months ago, in June. I think the exact date is June 22nd, based on what it was when I clicked the link. And so, okay, so they're thinking the same way I'm thinking. Put both of them. Christian's been there for a minute. Shiraz just won after beating Berlanga. He won the mandatory rights. Have them both fight against each other. Whoever wins that comes out as the real mandatory, and then boom, they fight for Canelo. So that's what, okay. All right, so I think we got that figured out. So that's what it's looking like. It's trying to be perpetrated by the WBC. If that happens, great. Lord knows it needs to, because we need to get this sorted out, because I'm getting sick and tired of trying to be confused as to who's ranked where and what for this belt. Because there's still life after this fight, and we got to make sure we know who deserves a rightful shot. We got to make sure we know that. We don't want somebody getting gypped. Like I said, we don't want a Justin Parker situation. We don't want that. So I'm like I told y'all think I'm just trying to I know a lot of stuff, but at the same time, I'm live trying to find stuff out while we talking, so I can make sure, that we right, so I can make sure that we on the up and up. But let me keep on going through to see what you all got to say. Yo, Double Edge Logic, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. We appreciate you coming in on today. What you got to say? Let me see. What's up, Jean-Luc? I'm listening on my way to work. Well, hey, I hope you're glad. I hope you're enjoying the show. We having so much fun. We've been talking so much stuff about Canelo and Crawford. And if you missed it, I'll give you a tidbit of one of the other biggest things that we talked about was the fact that Canelo looks slimmer than we've seen before in this fight with Crawford. Now, we still, unofficially, 167.5 pounds. So he's right at the marker. So he's not smaller from the standpoint of he isn't still big. But the way the muscle looks now, it looks similar to what we saw when he fought against Gennady Golovkin the second time, built more so for speed rather than just for outright power. So again, the muscle is still the same, but it's been molded a little bit differently, and it looks different. On the same side, Bud, 167.5 pounds as well, unofficially. It's just like got to see him on the scale unofficially. He looks yoked up, and he looks like that weight is looking mighty comfortable on him. And all the gripe about whether or not he can actually make and be big enough for 168, it's looking mighty good. And that body, more specifically, looks like it's built to absorb some contact, and it's able to dish it out as well. And one of the things that we had said on this show before you had gotten here, with this fight, if indeed Canelo and his power are underwhelming to Crawford, this is about to be a very dangerous fight for Canelo, and it could potentially lead into a field day for Terrence Crawford, because like we said before, of everything that we talked about with this fight in regards to the size of Canelo, the predominant thing of everything, even with the IQ and all, was his size will ultimately be just too much and too strong for Crawford to take. But if that gets ripped away as a legitimate X factor for Canelo, everybody, which it wasn't talked about a whole bunch, but now everybody's looking and saying, wait a minute, if we do see that this cat can't crack him, all of a sudden, what can he do to win? Because we've been saying he can't outbox him. Most of us have been saying that Canelo has regressed a bunch as a fighter, I myself included, from a technical perspective. And Crawford is still just about right where we know he is. Consistency when it comes to every ring performance. This could be very dangerous. It could be very dangerous. And don't let it be that the power of Crawford gets Canelo's respect either. Oh, Lord. That's a whole nother can of worms. That's a whole nother can of worms. And people are starting to say, hey, that idea of a knockout is not likely, but it might be more in the realm of a realistic nature than we may have thought when all this time up until, for some people today, it was just an outright outlier. So I'm telling you, tonight, this weigh-in, when they see them face to face, ooh, buddy, it's gonna make people and also real quick, while we're talking about, well, actually, before I do that, let me keep on clicking the chats so I can make sure I'm not missing nobody. Hamza ranked number 1, WBC. Yep, you're right. And again, we validated that. Thank you for helping me out to learn all of this. I don't know how a casual fan could follow a lot of this. Yeah, it's like I'm doing my best to help you all, not just, again, this channel's built not just to help you get excited and invested and talk about boxing and the sports world as a whole. Because like I said, we do talk about the NFL. We do talk about the NBA. We are a multifaceted channel, but predominantly we deal with boxing. But it's not just to debate and to, oh yeah, he's going to win, he's going to lose. We want to help people become a smarter fan. Casual and or hardcore, you could come here and be just fine. And everybody's able to feel like you're able to feel like, oh, I'm getting some good stuff, as well as it's not too much that it's so out there that I can't get into the sport. Because we need somebody to help be a liaison, to help people learn. Or at least if they left and want to come back, they see, oh, all this is too confusing. What? We're here to help you be a guide, or to help be a guide to slowly work you back into knowing the ins and outs of boxing, from basics to all of the technical stuff that goes on, at least to the best that we can. Because again, other people got more sources. Other people got more clout. Absolutely. I'm just here doing my part best I can. Hopefully, it's creating an audience that is legitimately edifying and is engaging. And maybe they teach me something. I teach y'all something. Potentially, hopefully. And it comes to a situation where everybody's able to, in some way, shape, or form, be on the same page. That's the thing. When we can have that, where you can be a new fan and an old fan, and both of y'all can be like, hey, I'm excited, and I get why you feel how you feel. All of a sudden, everybody's able to enjoy the sport better. That's all we're looking for. That's all we can try to do. And hopefully I'm helping you all experience that to the best of my ability, preferably. And hopefully I'm making your day better. Just a little bit. Life can be hard. And we just doing the best to make sure in some way, shape, or form, we can be a blessing. And we can help just, give you, regardless of how your day may go. Whether it's great or like with some days, it ain't the best day. Hopefully we can just be somebody you can come to. And you know what? Hey, this show helps me see everything is going to be fine. Might not be, I don't know how long it's going to take. It might not be immediate. But everything, whether in or outside of the sport, we can make it through it. We can make it through it. Hopefully I can provide that for this show. But let me keep on reading what you all had to say. Fight Buzz TV, hey man, how you doing? Thank you for coming back on the show. Appreciate you tuning in to the live with us today. Again, it's still the championship rounds. Everybody has a voice to be able to say whatever you want to say in the world of boxing and beyond. We want to hear from you, and you all drive the conversation. So I'm excited to hear what you all got to say. So let me see your chats right now. Welch, what's your prediction for the co-main event? Vargas versus Welch. Now, that's a good question. That's a good question. Now, in my opinion, the real co-main event should be Martinez and Billy and or Boachuk. Surprised he's on the prelims of the card instead of the actual doggone main the co-main event. But that's a whole nother conversation. For this, I gotta think. I think I'm picking Vargas Jr. to win this. I think I'm picking Vargas Jr. to win by decision. Now, so you might think I'm crazy. You might agree with me. But I think we're going to see Vargas Jr. take out this win. I think we're going to see him get this win. I really do. Now, see, how wide is the gap between... Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm mentally going through the fight. And yeah, I think we're gonna see Vargas. I think I'm not gonna say knockout, but I think we're gonna see Vargas win in the co-main. I think we'll see the win in the co-main. I think it's gonna be closer than people may see. If I'm not saying you do, if you do have this fight as a lopsided affair, I don't think it's going to be as lopsided as you may believe. On both ends of the spectrum, whether you think Walsh is going to take it to Vargas or Vargas is going to wipe out the likes of Walsh, I don't think it's going to be to that extreme where it's not even competitive. But I do think that we're going to see the gap between Vargas and Walsh probably by round 5 start to open up. And then by round like 11, okay, boom. That's when, yeah, he's got this in the bag. Just don't get knocked down and you're gonna win. It's gonna be like that. It's gonna be competitive. Don't get me wrong. It's gonna hope preferably it needs to be competitive because with the lack of big name appeal that this card has outside of the main event, it needs to be that these fights got to show up and show out to keep people investing and make them want to stay and watch these fights. Cause it's not everybody ain't really invested in everything but the main event. Most of the populace. So we better hope and pray that we better hope and pray this fight's like the fights we get up at 4 a.m. for in Japan, where every fight is a banger, and you literally cannot sleep lest you miss out on a phenomenal fight that comes through. You can't do that. Or rather, you can't with those cards. Hopefully that's the same for this one. But again, we got to wait and see. But I got Vargas winning that fight. Let me see. Nick, thoughts on Canelo's power? I believe it's overrated. He couldn't KO Munguia, but Saras could. And he couldn't KO Belanga, but Shiraz could. So, this is a really good point. And again, Boxing Magic, what's going on? What's going on, man? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. Canelo's going to win and prove who he is. Well, one, he doesn't have to prove who he is. He already is one of the greatest. This fight doesn't diminish the set in stone foundation of greatness that is Canelo. One of the 3 greatest Mexican boxers in history. Again, the greatest resume we have right now in the modern day of boxing. Of every active fighter ever. Nearly 70 fights, which the only other buddy that's got that close of a fight amount just came back from a 6-year layoff in Manny Pacquiao. His greatness is he's faced off against just about every single competitor you can think of. Hall of Famers and all. So you're doggone right, I'm telling you, he don't need to prove nothing. Still needs to fight Dave Benavidez, but his greatness is already set in stone. He can be greater if he does fight that, but still, another conversation. Regardless of which, don't need to prove anything. He's got a lot to lose if he loses. From the standpoint of where his legacy can elevate up to even with as high as it is already. If he does lose, yes. But still, we won't be able to question what his greatness is, regardless of this result. Promise you that. I promise you that. Won't be able to question that because he's phenomenal. Now, going back to Nick's comment, Canelo, so let's break it down context by context, fight by fight. When Canelo fought against Munguia, Canelo could have knocked out Munguia. Understand? Canelo kept Munguia up. Literally held him up in that fight. When he could have knocked him down and knocked him out in what rounds, between rounds 10 and 12. He could have. He could have. What's the, something. Got like a, something's. It ain't a bug. It ain't a bug. My room is clean. I'll tell you that right now. Ain't no bug in here. I know that for a fact. Is my hair falling? I felt, hopefully it's lint. It's dust from somewhere. Good gosh. Someone was irritating me. I'm sorry. Back in the matter at hand. Canelo could have knocked out Munguia, but he chose not to. He even admitted it afterwards in subsequent interviews after the fight. Yeah, I didn't want to knock him out. I wanted to help him learn inside of the ring. And I wanted to teach him, legit teach him, to help him make him a better fighter. I didn't want to knock him out. His words, not mine. From his mouth, not mine. He said it. So, he could have done that, but he didn't. He couldn't knock out Berlanga. That's where the stuff gets sketchy. He couldn't knock out John Ryder. That's where stuff gets sketchy. He couldn't knock out Charlo, even with Charlo trying to run around the ring, which does indeed make it hard to fight and hit somebody. Yes, not trying to fight and box and move, running. If you're running, yes, it's hard for you to get a clean shot landed, though you're losing the fight because you're not trying, because you are not trying to get hit at all. Even Inoue had trouble fighting against a runner in Paul Butler. He still got job done, but he had a tough time trying to catch him because he wasn't trying to engage in the slightest, shelling up and doing nothing but blocking. So yes, runners are hard to knock out. We capitulate to that. But at the same time, you did tag him. And even then, you did not finish the job and look to go and end that like you should have against a brother who, regardless of whether you say you like movers or not, you should have been able to put him out after that knockdown. And you didn't. Berlanga, you put him down. When he got up, he had some success after said knockdown. You ultimately went and won the fight still, but yeah, your power wasn't hurting him to that degree afterwards in that fight. Like it should have. And Shiraz put the brakes on Butler. After Shiraz hurt him, but he didn't let him get up. He didn't let him recover. He ended that fight quick and in a hurry. Now, Canelo has always been a strong fighter, but he's not a one-punch knockout artist. They even talked about that in the post-presser show with Max and all of them, Max Kellerman and them, Roy Jones and Lennox Lewis. He's not a one-punch KO artist. Neither is Crawford. Though, we can point to Crawford putting somebody out or rocking somebody to Kingdom Come and quickly starting the beginning of the end when he put out Kell Brook with essentially a makeshift jab off of, say it with me now, a counter. And then he's the best finisher in the game outside of Naoya Inoue. So, that's why we have questions with Canelo. It's not that we're concerned that you can hurt Crawford or that the power won't be there, which it could not be there if you streamline for speed to where it would actually push Crawford back. That's another conversation. That's a whole other speculation. The biggest thing is, when it comes to this fight, if you do hurt Crawford, will you put him down? That's the question. Will you put him down and keep him down? Or, just like with your past 5 fights, you have let them survive in some way, shape, or form to gain a modicum of momentum. And like we've seen with Terrence Crawford, every time he has been hurt, he ended the show shortly after. Shortly after. He was down on the cards to Sean Porter. The second he heard it, he had one of the greatest one-round turnarounds I've ever seen in boxing history. He got rocked and put down against Gamboa. He went and ragdogged that brother for the next, 3 or 4 rounds. However long the fight went afterwards. And stopped him. Had him doing stanky leg and all. This is the man who, if you give him an inch or say, oh, I can hurt you or you can hurt me, bet. He turns it up. He turns it up. The last time you put somebody down and you got the job done when you had them hurt was Caleb Plant. It was Caleb Plant. When you first became undisputed champion. Retained the undisputed title. Now that was a great win. I'm not diminishing the win, but I'm saying that's the last quality fighter and the last time that we've seen you be able to put somebody down and end the show once you had him there. It's not about just knocking everybody out. I'm not questioning whether you can knock people out because knockouts aren't everything in boxing. I'm questioning that every time you have hurt somebody, they have survived to the end of the fight. The competition that you faced off against wasn't able to up their game when necessary to be able to come back once they got some breathing room and once you started breathing heavy. They weren't good enough. But now you're dealing with somebody that is good enough and has shown every single time, if you give me an inch, you can hurt me. You can tag me, sure. But if I get up, if I'm able to get up, if I'm able to come back, oh, you best believe you're about to see something you ain't never seen before. All of a sudden, that switch flips. That switch flips immediately. All of a sudden, you see the wheels start turning in a manner you've never seen before. The evolution of a fighter comes about in a way that, I'm going to be real, Canelo's never seen outside of Floyd Mayweather from an IQ standpoint, an adaptability standpoint. He's never seen it outside of Mayweather. And last time he did it, he lost. I'm not saying he's going to lose this fight for the sense of that reason alone. Even with me having Crawford in a monumental upset, which I know is out there as a prediction. But that still doesn't change the fact that when we're looking at we gotta strip it down. Not because that's the only way that Crawford can win, because that's what we do every single fight. We gotta come to reality with this. The reason why the Canelo is not as favored as he is, or as you would expect him to, is because the man against less competition wasn't able to finish the job with the vaunted power that he was garnered with. The impressiveness of his power is that it makes people indeed hesitate. Yes. Valid, and he's able to go and punch with the big boys and even outclass them. Absolutely impressive. No question. But the question marks come into play that with all of that power, it's been what? The last when it was with all that power, since you have been, mind you, not new to this division, but consistent in this division, as you are indeed a 168 pounder for life. This is all you're going to have. The last time you got yourself a knockout was against Caleb Plant. You put down Ryder in 5, and you weren't able to do anything afterwards. You put down Charlo in 7, and then he was still you put down Charlo in 7 and still nothing. You couldn't end it. You put down Munguia in 4. You put him down, but they were able to get back up and finish the fight. Now that I get that can happen, yes. But the pattern of not finishing your food in that manner draws a concern when the biggest thing about you is I'm big and I'm strong. And nobody else of this list had the ability to, if they did get stunned, rocked, hurt, or put down, they can elevate their game and change in nearly the manner that Crawford can. And the Crawford, the biggest thing about him, some of the best performances we've seen him have was when he was hurt and or down. Or, like we said earlier, when the power wasn't what he expected. That's where we've seen him shine the biggest. Those 3 instances. Any of those 3 happen in this fight, which it can, guess what? Now you're about to see the best version of Terrence Crawford. What can Canelo do with that if it gets to that point? Don't forget, if we want to talk about betting odds, one of the betting odds for this fight is Crawford going down in this fight and winning the fight still. Is one of the more popular odds that this fight has to offer. That got brought up on that show with Max Kellerman inside the ring. That's one of the most popular. That is a legit big odds factor. Crawford goes down in this fight and still wins this fight. It's because of 2 ways. One, because we see Crawford go through and win the early rounds. Canelo tries to ramp it up and he gets a knockdown in rounds like 10 or 9. But then Crawford still wins those last 2, or one of the last 2, and still is able to go and win the fight on points. Or Crawford goes down early. All of a sudden, Canelo's up. Crawford goes down early. Canelo's got an early advantage. And then Crawford starts winning 1 or 2 of those early rounds, and then by round 5, with the knockdown, when the ramping up of Crawford starts and the decline of Canelo ends, Crawford wins the second half of that fight. Just enough to win. And outboxes and beats Canelo. Both of them got him going down. But both situations ensure Crawford's getting up. He's getting up. And at this point in time, it ain't been that you've been able to outbox that brother and beat him. Majimov couldn't even outbox him and beat him. Majimov fought into a standstill. On the standpoint of gridlock by the time those last 2 rounds came about. But when that boxing started to slip, when that stylistic nature that was unpredictable, when the boxing faded on one end, on Crawford's it stayed the same. What happens when that happens to Canelo? If that happens to Canelo. Because of the stamina. You see? You see what's going on? All of this, most of this fight has revolved around the power just being too much. But if the power's not enough and the boxing wanes, like it has for the past 5 fights, as the fight hits the midway point, all of a sudden we're dealing with a situation where the biggest weapons in Canelo are no longer valid. What can he do? Somebody in chat, please. I need a plan B for Canelo if he is not able to overwhelm Crawford with power. Not because it's not a factor and not because we don't understand the strength and the IQ combined already is incredible. But if those things start to wane, what's the next option? If we see the Crawford that we know that's been able to turn it up and turn it out, come up again. In fact, if he unlocks that mythical, unseen, yet potentially existing 7th gear, going beyond his own beyond, reaching past the stars, going into an unknown void. When Crawford goes into that 6th gear, but it's like a black hole of all-encompassing talent. Brother, what happens if Crawford pushes through the black hole and comes out the other side? What does that make him? See what I'm saying? People like to call Bud Superman. Imagine if people like to call Bud Superman or Super Bud for his real diehard fans. One of the biggest things with Superman, if he gets into the sun, all of a sudden, oh, he's rejuvenated. He's revived. He gets stronger. You fight Superman on a sunny day, oh my gosh, you're already in for a world of hurt at bare minimum. With that helping him, oh, it's incredible. But you know the greatest thing about Superman, or one of the biggest versions, Superman Prime, where Superman stayed in the sun for over, what was it, like what, 100 years? 1,000 years? Somewhere along those lines. Stayed in the sun for a hot minute. And by the time he came out, he was glowing gold, literally glowing gold. Was made of gold when he came out the sun after just sitting there. We had never seen Superman that strong, ever. We didn't even think that was possible. Lo and behold, look at what happened. Crawford has the ability to use the sun to be great, to elevate his game, because he's just like that. The bigger the fight, the bigger the moment, the bigger the man, the bigger he becomes. But we've never seen him. What if he, in this moment, instead of a sun, is a black hole that sucks everything else in around him, but he's able to thrive in the stretched space and time where nothing makes sense to the opponent and nothing makes sense to anybody? How is he doing this except for him? We've never seen him come out of the other side of that black hole to push beyond that brink of his own making. That's seventh gear for Crawford. He might need it, and he might have to find a way to get to that and get to a place he's never been to before. But if he does, what's that going to look like? What's that going to be like? That's the question. That's the question. And again, that's what makes it so exciting. But let me keep on reading what you all had to say. Let me see. Thoughts on the judges. All three judges for Canelo versus Bebo gave Canelo the first 4 rounds, which is a disgrace. 2 of those judges are judging Canelo and Crawford. And again, I won't know until fight night, because we talked about we're concerned with judges. We're scared with the judging. Whatever outcome comes about, we cannot have the scorecards go in negative favor of somebody that didn't deserve said judging. We don't need a bad decision. Definitely not. We can have a close fight. We can have one where it can go tit for tat. We can't have one where it's just belligerently wrong. We can't have that. We can't. It's too big of a stage. It's too big of a responsibility. It's got to be that every scorecard, regardless of the result, is in the realm of feasibility. Because, if we see a 118, if we see a 120, 107 card, when it was in fact a 115, 113, a 114, 114 type scenario, heads will roll. Heads will roll. I guarantee you, heads will roll. But let me see. Sounds like people need to reach for the stars when talking about how Bud win. And again, I'm not that specific instance. I'm not bloviating, but everything else with Crawford I've talked about as he can do this, he can do that. This is reality of what can transpire, because he is that good. And he has done this before in a similar situation, bringing up examples. I've done that. The 7th gear thing has been the only thing that I've been, it's different. And it is, I don't know if he's going to get there. But I know he's got the capacity to get there. Again, it's only 3 people. It's only 3. It's only 3 people that I would ever say can reach that type of zenith of going beyond their beyond. In a way, Bud, Usyk. Those are the only 3. Not even Canelo. I've said Canelo's one of the few in boxing that has a 6th gear. He's one of the few. Now, there's a bigger list. It's still small, but it's bigger. But the only people that I can ever see that said if I need to see them go beyond into the legit ultimate form, that they might not ever reach it again. But this is definitively the best version we've ever seen. They went to a place that even I never saw them go to. It's only those 3 people. And he's going to need it going into this fight because it's going to have to be. His 6th gear might not be enough. I'm trying to be real. His 6th gear might not be enough against Canelo. We know how all-encompassing Crawford is as a fighter once he really switches that 6th gear on. But there's a whole, there is an entire possibility it's not going to be enough. Don't forget that. It's an entire possibility. Ain't going to be enough. And Canelo's got a 6th gear too. It's a good chance that might not be enough to beat him. And if you just operate in 6th gear, you could still get beat. Same way. Because once Canelo elevates as well, guess what? You're dead in the water. That's what can happen. That's the reality. That's what can happen. So it's gonna, there is a more than likely chance he's gonna have to go to a place he's never been to before. Even further than what he's already unlocked. It's gonna have to, it's gonna have to be like that. Now, this ain't just trying to do anime sagas, storytelling. This is the truth of the matter. This is the truth of the matter. This is the truth of the matter. Like I said before, this is like Roy Jones Jr. moving up to heavyweight and fighting not John Ruiz, but Lennox Lewis in his prime to take the Undisputed Championship away from him. This is like that. Ain't gonna be no walk in the park. It's gonna take the best you got and more. Because your best might just flatline and might just break even or even be below what's necessary to take over the skill of the opponent. Because you're dealing with another brother who's got insurmountable odds physically going in their favor, as well as an IQ and talent that is widely recognized as, hey, they in the same stratosphere as you. So even if you get to a 6th gear, it might not be enough. That 7th gear, I'm teasing it not because I'm just trying to make a good plot point. It is a good plot point, sure, but it's more than just that. I truly believe he's going to have to step to a new place. He's going to have to. He's going to have to. Because if he doesn't, and his 6th gear isn't enough, he's going to lose this fight. He's going to lose this fight. If that doesn't happen, if he goes there and he can't win like that, and I'm saying he's doing everything right, he's got to go a step further, or he's going to lose. That's the literal reality of it all. And that's entirely impossible. So I don't know about what everybody else is saying. That's what I'm saying, Because I understand this is necessary lest he goes and falls into defeat. Because there's already a stringent amount of ways that he can win. So it's insane. He couldn't find the fifth or 6th gear in his last fight. Yes, he did, because in those last 2 rounds, you saw him fully take over. It didn't look like how it normally looked. But I saw the shift. And it took a minute to get there. Oh, yes, it did. It took a hot minute to get there. But once he got there, he was beating Madrimov in those last 2 to 3 rounds. That solidified the win. And it wasn't like I said, there has not been a fight in Crawford's career that has been disputed that he did not legit beat his opponent with no controversy. Even you can say the Madrimov fight was a bad fight. You can't say he didn't find a way to completely and definitively, by the end of that fight, have everybody saying, yep, yeah, he beat him. He did. And if people are saying that Madrimov should have won, it's few and far between. Because it's legit. The sixth gear don't always look the same, but it leads to the same result of there's no conversation as to who got this win and who's the better man. Every single time he's turned it on and went there. Every time. Madrimov as well. And it's looked different every single fight. It has. This with Canelo, he can do that. And it might not be enough. It might not. So it's hard to get there. It's a lot of stress to use it. And he's might have to push beyond it. It's a reality. If not, guess what? He loses. It's going to take his best and more to beat this type of challenge. I'm telling you. And he didn't need it in his last fight. It's like Canelo didn't need it in his last fight. Crawford did. Canelo didn't. Canelo didn't even get out of gear 1. That's been the issue. He didn't even get out of gear 1. But let me see what we got to say. See, he was stuck in. I didn't even think he got to gear 2 in his last fight. That brother, he literally gave up on trying to chase Crawford, to chase Skull, because he was like, hey, it's not worth my time. He was in like gear 3 for Charlo. It wasn't a test. And he just didn't use the stuff like he's been saying. But let me see. Yoda, what's going on? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. So glad you're here with us on today. Who is better? Floyd at 39. Ooh, or Bud at 37? That's a good question. That's a good question. That's a really good question. Because when Bud was 37, he's 38 now. When he was 37, that was during the prime of his career at welterweight. When again, the around that time, it was the age where it was leading into from 2016, 2023. He knocked out every opponent. He knocked out Errol Spence, who was top 10 pound for pound. He was avoided by promoters and by the PBC. People talk about the resume being bad. A lot of it was because he wasn't able to get those fights that he should have gotten with other big names because he was being iced out by promotions. And he still beat great names like Kell Brook, Amir Khan, Sean Porter, Errol Spence Jr., now with Madrimov. That's a tough one. But see, Floyd was a monster. Going back to Floyd Mayweather, he was at Floyd at 39. He was, again, more so that was close to the tail end of his career. But let me check the career to make sure I got it right. I don't want to misremember. I don't want to misremember to make sure that I'm not putting his career into the proper perspectives. Let me see. He was 37. Yeah, that's right at age 37. 1. All right. Again, I'm bad at math, so I'm trying to figure out where was Floyd at age 37. So he was fighting the likes of people like Berto at age 37. So so Andre Berto. Oh, okay. So that would be the run of Canelo, Maidana, Pacquiao, Berto, McGregor, Cotto, Shane Mosley, and Victor Cruz. Around that 37. What would that be? Yeah, what? Actually, no, that would be more so. Let me see. Berto, Pacquiao, Maidana, Canelo. So I think so 37, 35, about that gap per se between that. Between this age, if I make sure I got it right, Crawford was more dominant. Floyd was still at the top, was coming to the tail end of his career. I think I might have to. But again, he was beating the likes of CANELO during that threshold as well. But then had the controversial win against Maidana, but then avenged it and beat him comfortably. Beat Pacquiao, but at that point in time, it was way late. Berto was the last real fight he had before Conor McGregor, and he was just trying to get the record and get out of here. I think, is it bad if I say Terrence Crawford? If we're looking at from age, if we're looking at, because again, the specific age is Berto and Maidana when Floyd was 37. If I think I got that right. 37, because Floyd was 39. When Floyd was 39. No, wait, hold on, hold on, I'm sorry. Hold on, no, I said it wrong. Then yeah, never mind. Yeah, I typed in the age wrong. I apologize. Floyd at 39 was fighting exhibitions in Japan. Forgot about it. At 37, he was fighting the likes of Berto, Pacquiao, Maidana, and Crawford within that 3-year gap. But if we're talking about at 39, oh yeah, no, it's Crawford. It's Crawford all day. It's Crawford all day. At 39, yeah, Terrence Crawford. But if Floyd's 39, Crawford's 37, Crawford all day. Crawford every day. No question about it. Because do you understand? Crawford is 38 right now. When he was 37, when he was, let me make sure. When he was 37, let me pull up the stuff. Like I said, we're gonna make sure that we say it right. I can go off the dome, but for this, I'm making sure that I got my P's and Q's in order. Cause yeah, right now at 37 or at 37 with Bud right now, he's a 50-50 favorite for Alvarez. At least for the bookies. And between ages 37 and 35, he fought Madrimov, Errol Spence, Sean Porter. Oh, yeah. Madrimov, Errol Spence, Albanese, and Sean Porter. And so it's like, that's a little bit stiffer competition. Then, again, Floyd, old Pacquiao, Berto, and then the Japanese brother. I think it was like 2 years afterwards at 39 that he fought the kickboxer in an exhibition. So yeah, no, Floyd. I'm sorry. Yeah, Crawford at that age. Now if we're going like 34, Floyd at 34, 33 versus Crawford now at 37. Now we're getting to a good fight. Floyd did not fight. Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on. Floyd did not fight. Wait, time out. Hold on. I'm looking at this right now. What age did Floyd fight? Floyd fought CANELO at 36. Floyd fought CANELO at 36. At 39, he was fighting a brother in Japan. Because again, like I said, it was CANELO at 36. The next year was Maidana, 37. Rematched him. And then fought Pacquiao at 38. And the fight that, again, we didn't like. Then later on that year in September, at 38, he fought Berto. Then he fought Conor McGregor 2 years later in 2017. And then after that was the Japanese brother. So again, at 39, we're talking about Floyd against Pacquiao, or against between Pacquiao and McGregor. Not the Floyd. We ain't talking about Floyd that fought Canelo. That was in 2013. He was 36 at that point in time. Again, that's why I said if it's at 39, yeah, no, Bud all day long. Absolutely. If we want to go 35, 34, 36, or we will round up 36, 34. Okay, you got a better conversation now. Because at that age, he fought Robert Guerrero, he fought Alvarez, he fought Cotto, Victor Ortiz. You're at Shane Mosley. If you want to go the last 5 fights within that realm before, again, 36 and up. That's why I say, yeah, if we're going at that age, that is well after Canelo. That's well past McGregor, actually. So, yeah, I'm taking Bud. Lower than that, okay, we got a conversation now. Yeah, Floyd. In certain respects. Now, I would love to see Floyd, when he was at 147, against Bud now at 147. Or Bud when he was at his most dominant run at 147. That would be a fight I would love to see. I would love to see that. And you have to see Al Booger. Thank you for validating it for me. Like I said, he was 36 at that point in time. Hence why 39, old Floyd, yeah, I'm taking Crawford. Because that brother wasn't even fighting no more. And the last couple fights was McGregor and Berto. But we go back down the line. 36, 34. Okay, we got ourselves a conversation. I would love to see them at 154 fight against each other. Or excuse me, at 147. That would be a great fight. That would be a great fight. So yeah, I was trying to compare both when they fought Canelo. So yeah, and again, Floyd was still older and was at the end of his prime. And was still winning, absolutely. But don't forget the danger of going up to a catch weight with Canelo was indeed there. Because Canelo was hot stuff even back then with 40 fights under his belt. It was bad man still. And Floyd, again, taught him a lesson, boxed him beautifully. But that Canelo got so much better since then that it's tough to look at that and say, okay, yeah, if Floyd can do it, Crawford can do it. Because Canelo, when he fought Crawford, is vastly better than the Canelo that fought against Floyd Mayweather. Floyd never faced this good of a Canelo before. Never. This is the biggest threat that Canelo has ever been from the standpoint of maturity, boxing knowledge, ability, taking what he learned from that fight with Floyd and evolving it into his style. That's how the run from 154 to 168 turned him into the superstar that he became on a global scale, because he took those lessons and all of a sudden became untouchable, unhittable, and also was putting people to sleep. Making people like Callum Smith go to a knee. Knocking out Kovalev, even though Kovalev was old. Which is true. Reigning at 168 and becoming one of the greatest 168-pound champions we've seen in boxing. Becoming undisputed. Reigning. Dominantly reigning. I think did he become undisputed at I'm trying to make sure. He became undisputed at 160 as well, I think. Let me make sure. It'll average 2x. Undisputed. I believe he did become undisputed champion twice. Yeah. So he became undisputed champion twice. Now, granted, I think that was against, yeah, I thought so. It was in the same weight class of 168 when he beat Plant, got the belt, and then beat Skull to get the belt again. So, yeah, it's what it is. Still 2-time undisputed. But going into it now, he fought the Gennady Golovkin 2 times at 160. And was going through the ringer at 160 as well. That Canelo, in the early days of 168 with Canelo, those or those are the versions that Floyd never faced off against. Which adds to the grandeur that if Bud beats this version of Canelo, it adds to the impressive nature, and it will be a better win than Floyd when he fought against Canelo. I believe it will be a bigger age gap as well, unless I'm tripping. Might be the same. But it will be a more impressive win than when Canelo fought against Floyd. Because this is the league's better. This Canelo put that Canelo to shame. It does. It does. So it'll be interesting. Let me see. Do you think Shiraz can beat him, Billy or Lester? So Shiraz can absolutely beat him, Billy. Oh, yes, he can. Let me tell you something right now. That Bud is a dangerous cat. He's a dangerous cat. He can beat him. Now, he does have his chin exposed way too much. And I'm going to say this. The jab of Berlanga, in the time he was actually able to use it, it was effective. Carlos Adames beat Shiraz. So if Carlos Adames is a great fighter. If Carlos can beat Shiraz, Christian and Billy can definitely beat him. He can definitely beat him. He can definitely beat him. But at the same time, the punching ability of Shiraz at 6'5", 6'3", similar dimensions as David Benavidez, who ironically enough is an inch shorter and I think got a 2-inch reach disadvantage compared to Shiraz, if not identical. He can give Christian and Billy a lot of pain if he catches him right. And he's got multiple ways to catch him right. He does. That is a gangly brother that can go through and cut through the air like butter. And he knows how to finish the job, boy. He knows how to finish the job, whether you muscular or not. Now, again, he's susceptible to getting countered from head movement. He is. He's susceptible to that. He is very susceptible to being able to, you can beat him on the outside, even though he is the taller fighter. Berlanga was doing that to a good degree when they were fighting against each other. But the issue is, when it gets to an inside fight, just like Sebastian Fundora, that's where he shines the best. That's where he shows out. That's where he shows up and makes everything great. That's where we see this cat come through and be insane. Insane. That's where all the damage gets done. And though Christian and Billy is in no way, is absolutely incredible, brother, he can get beat at his own game. He can get beat at his own game on the inside. And then we're going to get people stroking their chins, combing their beards, and going like this, maybe. And I'm trying to act like I got a full big beard. You can have some old pundits stroking their mustaches and chins and saying, maybe. Canelo got some competition that we may not expect. This brother better than I ever imagined. All of a sudden, hey, Canelo better watch out. It can get like that really quickly. It can get like that real quick. And he can end the night real quick. It's a double-edged sword. I'm going to say this. That fight is a double-edged sword. Shiraz can end this night real quick for Christian and Billy. And at the same time, Christian and Billy can put out Shiraz in one round. He can put him out in one round. From a power perspective, it's that volatile. Oh, yes, it is. Is it going to end that quick? I don't know. But Shiraz definitely got the ability to beat him. Lester, absolutely. Lester, he's got the ability to beat him, absolutely. But it's in Billy I'm worried about. It's in Billy I'm really worried about if Shiraz fights against him. Because he's got the ability. But boy, man, whoo, you dealing with some kind of power and some kind of fighter. Not just a power fighter, but just a straight up fighter. When we're talking about the likes of Christian and Billy. So it can get good. Let me see. Shiraz was gifted that win, though. Yeah, again, against Adames, yes, he was gifted that win. I completely understand it. He was gifted that win with Adames. No question about that. Absolutely. It's what he's done since with a brother who's been in the ring with the likes of Canelo, who couldn't even get stopped by Canelo. You put him down that drastically, that quick. Yeah, you can make some big noise at this division. Now again, the better boxer in Billy. But the power game, that's one of the defining factors in Shiraz's fighting style. It's comparable. It's comparable. I can say that. It's comparable at minimum. But let me keep on reading. Robert Vasquez, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. So glad you're with us on today. As I'm still drinking my coffee, coming through and reading y'all's chats. It's been a phenomenal show. I love it. What's the worst version of Crawford and Canelo? Oh, excuse me. The worst version of Crawford and Canelo, not in prime weight or not in prime and weight disadvantage. So you're saying that both of them are not where they were and neither of them are actually in their real prime. I can attest to that. I can rock with that. Because, yeah, Canelo at 168 was at one point in time everything that we knew he was up until the decline started. And 160 to the early days, like we've said, is the main and best versions of it. Until, 160, 168. Crawford, 147, unequivocally. The best version of Crawford that we had seen was that 2016 to 2023 run. Absolutely. But when this is still a fight where both of them have so far and away cleaned house when it comes to who they are. They're both still in their prime. Though it's not the absolute peak versions of their prime. They're still in their prime. That is true. There isn't a soul that says that at 168, Canelo isn't still, by a wide margin, the best fighter at 168, who's still on pound for pound top levels. And Crawford is still top 3, the number 1 best fighter in the world by most pundits and fans across the board and across weight classes. Usyk himself, who most people have as number 1, said that Crawford is today the best fighter in the world. Legit. And so, they're still in their prime. Let me be clear. They still, we can argue about the weight. We know that Canelo is comfortably a 160 pounder. We've been saying when breaking down this fight that this fight is part of the best weight of Canelo. When he moved up to 175, he lost speed and even more stamina. But at 168, he at least has access to everything that we know he is as a fighter. Even if he doesn't use it all, we know at this weight, he's not compromised to use what he wants to use. We know that. We know that for a fact. So no, he's still in his prime. It just isn't at the peak, the highest of highs, absolutely. But he's still in his prime as a fighter. Crawford has elongated his prime. And his prime, compared to Crawford's, has been a little more consistent due to the fact that he has fought, one, higher competition over his past 5 fights than Canelo, and has had a wider margin of dominance against elite competition than Canelo over the course of comparative 5 fights, which again is all we can compare it to. The last 5 fights of Crawford are better than the last 5 fights of Canelo. Higher in terms of respectable talent of the division, where they were, where they ranked, and what they were seen as in the realm of competition at 175 or at 168 versus at 175. Yes, within that run was Bebo, absolutely. He lost to Bebo, but it's still high competition. But after that, it's been nothing but nothing. Crawford has fought more than Canelo. Canelo has fought more than Crawford 2 times a year for just about 5 years. Absolutely, been more active, or at least has had a schedule that has helped to keep ring rust off. Crawford only fights 1 or 2 times a year, yet still we see him be able to be as dominant as he is. Both of them got their schedules, both of them work like they work, and both of them ain't compromised. We're going to see if Crawford gets compromised at 168. But we know what Canelo is. But they are both in their prime. But be clear. Do be clear about it. They are both in their prime. Okay, Canelo had fought the best at 168. Yeah, he had. He had. Legit. Even though the recent run wasn't all that great. Like I said, Billy Joe Saunders was at that point in time seen as he's going to outbox and outslick you. You can't catch that, brother. He's going to give you a lesson. That's what was the talk. And he was beating Canelo on my scorecard when I watched that fight. Up until Canelo called him and stopped him. Broke the orbital bone. The pressure took hold and the brother quit. Or rather, he got stopped because irreparable damage. And Billy Joe Saunders never fought again. Trying to make a comeback now. Will it happen? I don't know. But he ain't never fought since that fight. And Billy Joe Saunders was at the top of his game at 168, I believe. And he beat him. Caleb Plant. At that point in time, that was the best version of Caleb Plant we had. Absolutely. That was the best version of Caleb Plant we had in boxing. Ever. He was a good fighter. You can say he wasn't great. That's fine. He deserved the respect he got. And Canelo, what happened? He got the early rounds, boxing, moving around, making Canelo frustrated, and then Canelo got hold of how to break that Philly shell. Cornered him and pinned him to the ropes and kept on punching at his side. Broke him down, took away the legs. Next thing you know, knocks him out. Beats him. And there's no doubt, quality win. It isn't that he hasn't faced good competition. Though, again, of the last fights, it's been questionable. We know what he is and how dominant he is. But we also recognize the decline of what he used to use that he doesn't use. That's what makes it so engaging. It is the lack of rather than you never had. Because he's got it. But it's the lack of use of those skill sets due to, at this point in time, what age has taken away from a physical perspective. That he can't use everything like he wants to, or at least in the same regard without another price to pay. That's the Father Time's undefeated in that regard. But still, he's a dominant fighter. We're not picking anybody at 168 to beat this brother. Give me a name, and I can guarantee you they're not favored against Canelo. Unless you're David Benavidez. They're not. Not Shiraz. Sure enough, not Christian and Billy. And so, but let me see. Who's fighting today? That's a great question, actually. Let me think. Now, I believe that during the weigh-ins, or with the weigh-ins, there's going to be some fights throughout the week. I'm trying to make sure. Well, maybe not. Shoot, maybe not. Because as I'm looking right now, there is no boxing on US TV tonight. Per box.live /US, which is another very big boxing website. Ain't no fights today. So we just sit back and watch some film and get ready. That's really the case. It's the calm before the storm. It is the lull before the tsunami of action takes place. The only thing you need to care about is be on your screens, wherever the case may be. At where's the when is the when's the weigh-in today? It's gonna be at, is it 8? I think it's 8. Is it 8? What was the public weigh-in? What time? You know what? Hold on. Let me do the smart thing. Let me do the smart thing. Let me do. I'm trying to figure out where in the world. Come on. We about to find out. We about to find out. Hold your horses. Wait a minute. Hold on. Take a second. We about to search right now. Because I think it should be on the ring. It should be on, it should be Ring Magazine. I think Top Rank and the Zone. It should be that they got a countdown for when exactly the weigh-in's going to be for today. I'm looking for it. I'm trying to find it. They got to have something scheduled. I know they do. Do they not have it up? Good gosh, they ain't got it up yet? Come on now. The word is the weigh-in. Unless it already happened. Wait a second, did it already happen? Wait, no, there's no way. Hold on, time out. There's no way. There's no way that the official weigh-in already. There's no way the official weigh-in already happened. It's gotta be a joke, right? Okay, no, it hasn't. Okay, it hasn't. Okay, thank God. Okay, it hasn't. Just making sure. The weigh-in hasn't happened yet. Good gosh. But stay tuned to your screens, please. So you're able to be attentive. I think it's gonna be between 6 and 8 o'clock. But be prepared and look while this stream is up. Hey, go search scour the internet as much as you can to be sure you find out when exactly this fight's gonna be. Yep, okay, yeah, it ain't happened yet. Thank gosh. It hasn't happened yet, thank goodness. Thank the Lord. Oh, I got scared. I got petrified. It hasn't happened yet, thank goodness. Let me see, didn't Turkey say that it was fights all weekend? He did. And I think it's gonna be that after the weigh-in, the fights are gonna come after. Or, like at 6 o'clock, there'll be a live stream on the ring to watch fights from, I think it's a place called like the Underground or the Underdog. That's like an underground fight setting for like prospects and up-and-comers that they scour the globe to find. I think they had that yesterday. So it could be that happens. So be on the lookout. Like I said, be on the lookout and try to find it. I'm trying to make sure that's the case. Because they did have fights yesterday they did have fights after the open workout. They had fights yesterday after the weigh-in or after the press conference, excuse me. And I think they're going to have fights streamed again after this weigh-in today. So get ready. That's all I can say, get ready. How do you feel about the questions Dana White ran from? And we talked about this earlier. Like I said, we discussed this earlier in the night. Full disclaimer, it's great. He should have answered them. Sean Zedel did a phenomenal job at pressing the brother because he deserves to answer what needs to be answered when it comes to taking away the Ali Act. And again, to summarize what the Ali Act is, for those of you who don't know, the Ali Act was put in place in the 2000s to make it so that boxers were not able to be exploited by promoters, and to make it so that there was not just a minimum payout that had to be done for fighters, but had protections in place so that boxers could actually use the free market like a free market when it comes to working with promoters and promotions, and not stifling their ability to be controlled and pimped out by promoters in illegal ways, to make it so that they lose money, lose everything that they earn, and don't have the luxury of being able to fight in a manner that is lucrative to them. Slaves to the machine. Took that right away and make it so that I'm sorry, I just saw something on the screen. And makes it so that they are not able to be exploited by the sport and by the people who put fights on. Like Eddie Hearn, like Bob Arum, like Turkey Al-Sheikh, Dana White, and everybody else that works in the Frank Warren, anybody, don't matter who. It put in place so that these promoters were not able to pimp out these fighters and steal them for everything that they got without justifiably paying them, what they deserve and keeping their rights in this ruthless sport. He's trying to strip that away and cause for the minimum payout to be diminished. That would also subsequently, in the language of what he's trying to reform with the Ali Act, take away rights and protections for fighters, making them more vulnerable to promoters, to be able to be taken advantage of in every which way. And that's horrible. And it would allow for the same way that Dana White has been operating in the UFC financially. No health care, low payouts. Unless you are one of the top 3 names, you can't make big money. And essentially you put in the work of a real warrior, but you don't get paid as such. It's the opposite end of the spectrum to everything that we say that's wrong with Tank, who does no work but gets all the payouts, while people that do work don't get money. At least those people that do work, if they're not getting the money that Tank's getting, they're still getting millions of dollars. Thankfully. Because this sport is filled with old money. If Dana White got what he wanted, they would not be able to do that anymore. And unless you were Tank, unless you were CANELO, you would not make that type of money anymore. Ever. Wouldn't even come close. And that's a problem. Cap payouts of 75,000, 100,000, all that stuff. It's the extreme version of stop paying these athletes too much because they're getting too soft. You see the rhetoric? You see the negative use of nostalgia and the negative use of trying to impede the old ways. Y'all are too comfortable being able to get what you want. The whole point of Jack Dempsey being one of the first millionaires was to break the ceiling. Huh? Jack Johnson broke the ceiling so you could get paid and so black folks could fight. Dempsey broke the ceiling so that we could actually have people making bank. Ali broke it after that. The progress is going to go backwards if Dana White gets what he wants. And we can't have that. That's why we hold these promoters, Turkey, Dana, Bob Arum, everybody. That's why we hold their feet to the fire. And that's why we don't let them be able to get away with this stuff. So you keep asking these questions. You keep researching the Ali Act. You keep researching the lack of protections that boxers have and what's trying to be taken away from the already still needs to be better protections that are in place. Look it up. Research for yourself so you can learn the dangers of what's trying to come about with this sport. Because, yeah, we want Dana to handle the sport like the UFC, making the matchups that should happen, happen. And not making it so that a loss takes away from what the sport is. But at the same time, you can't bring that business practice into here. Because that's exactly why your biggest stars left the UFC. And why the pushback against the UFC is all coming to light now. Because you're gypping your fighters. You're stealing from your fighters. You're not taking care of your fighters. You are cheap as dirt from the sense of trying to pay them what they deserve. And you won't even give them the health care that they're asking for. Which is why Francis Ngannou skipped town with the title. And you built a house of cards that not just isn't sustainable on the other end of the spectrum financially, but now you ain't got no stars in there at all. Because they're seeing, hey, I'm getting taken care of in boxing. Even in spectacle fights, I'm getting paid more than I ever made in the UFC. And I poured my heart and soul into this, and I got cheated monetarily. I wouldn't need to go into the MMA I wouldn't need to go into boxing if I was doing what I needed to do. Unless you're Anderson Silva, most UFC fighters are trying to get into boxing because it is indeed more money. Ilya Tapor is calling out Crawford, saying he'll knock him out. Why? To get a rise and to make an all-time clash. Ilia Topuria will die if he tries to fight Terrence Crawford. He got popped. Yes, absolutely. He will get destroyed. He'll get beat in a way that he won't even want to fight no more if he fought against the likes of Terrence Crawford. I promise you that right now. We know that right now. We know that forever. We know that, period. There's better boxers than the likes of Ilia Topuria with more power that have been put to sleep. Every boxer that was at the level of Ilia Topuria's boxing and power has been put to sleep by Terrence Crawford at a bigger weight and at a smaller weight. No. And you ain't even that good that your skills can compete. I'm telling you from what I've seen. Nah. You're great. You're a great MMA fighter. It ain't the same. Conor McGregor was a better striker than you. And you saw what happened when he fought against Floyd. There's no way. There's no way. No way. But they're doing it because the money is worthwhile, because they never got that when they got to the top of the sport in the UFC, because they were robbed. It's a shame. It's a shame. It really is a shame. You can't bring that practice into boxing. You can't bring that practice into boxing. And we can't let that happen, or else the sport's going to die, because what's the point? Part of the reason why boxing has gone away and diluted, at least in America, is because baseball, $500 million contract, Shohei Ohtani, $300 million contract, Bryce Harper, Jose Altuve. The list goes on and on. Kershaw, all of them. There was a point in time when we saw in baseball, every single year, the record for the biggest contract in American sports history got broken. For 3 years straight, it got broken 3 times in a row. That didn't make no sense. Shohei right now broke it. Aaron Judge broke it before that. Bryce Harper had it. I think somebody else broke it. And then in the same year, it got broken again, less than 6 months later. It's ridiculous. Because athletes saw that you can make money from that, they stopped. Who needs to box when I can make that type of money? NBA, I can make a boatload of money. $230 million, $250 million. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, I think it was $260 actually. LeBron made $1 billion. Getting paid $50 million for a 1-year extension. Luka, $240 million. Dame, $220. $195, $180. Giannis, $230. Jokic is going to get a big, whatever he wants, whatever money Jokic wants, he's going to be able to get once his contract gets renewed. I wouldn't be surprised if it pushed $300 million. They went because the sport was more lucrative elsewhere. And I'm not getting punched in the face. Now, you don't make more money in one night than you can make in boxing. One night can make you a literal one night can make you a fifth of a billionaire and get you $50 million for 36 minutes of work. Ain't no other sport doing that. But they went to other sports because they making bank and they ain't sacrificing their body nearly as much. And even with the sport itself, in combat sports, why fight the UFC when I can make a bunch more money in boxing, even if I'm not as good at the top of the mountain? At least I'm getting compensated as such. That's the issue. It's the problem. Silver just got a $10 million. Yep. See, Silver just got a $10 million lawsuit settlement from Dana. Yes. And he deserved that $10 million. And Dana's got a couple more suits that he's got to deal with. You know why? Because of the practices of his business. It goes deeper than just we're making the best fight the best. How are you compensating them once they do that? Or are you just using them to get the fights, but then they're not taken care of behind the scenes. That's where stuff gets problematic. But let me see. The big difference between boxing and other sports is the fact that you don't have to go to college for 4 years in order to get to be professionals. I mean, yeah. Now, granted, soccer, the youngest player I've seen get a soccer contract over in Europe was, I believe, 13. And he's pro. Basketball, you can go overseas at 16 years old, not go to college. That's what LaMelo Ball did. Play with grown men. How do you think Luka played with them at 16 and won EuroLeague MVP? And that brother's playing with grown folks. This is the same leagues that were pooled for the Olympics that took the NBA, that took the USA Olympics to the brink in the gold medal and silver medal, or in the quarter, semis, and finals. And Luka won MVP, I think 1 or 2 times before coming here to the States, and then boom, dominated when he got here. We had Kevin Garnett come out of high school and become a Hall of Famer, MVP, averaging almost 30 and 13. Was the best player in the world at one point in time. LeBron, high school. Kobe, high school. Brandon Hayward, high school, first person to do it. Not going to college. So it's been done before. And so there are other avenues to be able to do it. The issue is, more so with boxing than anything, yeah, you can play and you can get into the sport young and be in it. But more than that, it's tough to take. With boxing, if you get into it early, you can become a pro early and be able to be great. It's tough to get into it late. It's tough to get into it's tough to get into boxing late. It's tough to get into boxing late. NFL, yeah, you need to go to college. You have to go to college to make it to the league. You have to. Because you gotta play with some grown men, some real grown men. Some players made it from rugby, but still, that's the one avenue and the main one. But it's tough. It's tough to take out boxing late and still be successful. Deontay Wilder did it, but that man had a right hand from the heavens. That man had a gift from God when it comes to power in his right hand. Became a bronze medalist. Like insane. But it ain't common. It's not common at all. So it's a tough sport to be able to really be good in, because you got to be there and be in it from an early age. Because most of the people in boxing, they've been in it out the womb. Legit. Prodigies left, right, and center. That this is what they were made to do. So it's a different thing. It's a different mode. You can fall into boxing, or you can fall into basketball. You can fall even into the NFL. It's happened before. Julius Peppers, Hall of Famer, was a basketball player at UNC. Good one too. Great one too. Then played in March Madness as well. Was a legit good top big man in college. Late in life, made a transition in college into football. But became a All-Pro multiple times. One of the 3 greatest Carolina Panthers in history. And Hall of Famer first ballot. Antonio Gates, Jimmy Graham. It's happened before. It just ain't, it ain't likely. Even Allen Iverson started out playing football before playing basketball. And then MVP, Hall of Famer, got to the finals. One of the greatest guards we've ever seen in the sport. Influential figure that reinvented what it meant to be an NBA player. And the cultural impact that we've seen of the likes of Michael Jordan and Steph Curry and LeBron. And Kobe. It's insane. So it is different, absolutely. But it has been done before, that people can get into the sport without the normal college routes for other sports. But in boxing, you got to be in it from the jump, or else you're going to get left behind real quick. It's hard to get into it late and still be able to do what you do. It's tough. Did they really take away boxing in Olympic boxing in the USA? No, they did not. They were talking about taking it away from the Olympics. Thank the Lord they didn't. Gennady Golovkin currently is over the Olympic team when it comes to the world of the Olympic boxing. They were going to stop boxing being an Olympic sport. Thankfully, they got nullified, and it still exists. So there's still Olympic boxing in America. There is. Might not get talked about much, but there still is a bunch of prodigies that are coming out the States that are looking to train. Golden Gloves, amateurs, Olympics, and then going into professionals. It still is there, thankfully. So I'm excited. Thank the Lord I didn't get taken away. Oh, that would have been bad. That would have been really bad. But to my knowledge right now, it still exists. Thankfully, it still exists. But I think that's everything we need to talk about and cover. Because it's almost 5 o'clock and we getting ready for the what's gonna be, what we expect to be. An explosive weigh-in that's gonna get everybody's juices flowing for the big push into the final night of tomorrow. I'm excited for it. I can't wait to see it. I need to have it happen, and it can't come soon enough. So if nobody else has does anybody else have anything they want to ask, talk about, conversate with, and discuss on this show before we get out of here? Last call. Any other questions? We can take one and or two, and then we're gonna wrap it up. So because I gotta make sure I'm prepped for tomorrow. Any comments, concerns, takeaways, everything you want to discuss? 30 seconds? Huh? We here. I'm listening. I'm watching. I'm waiting. And it seems like we're all good. And so unless I miss any other chats coming through, hopefully I didn't miss nobody else coming through. I think it's time for us to get out of here. I think it's time for us to get out of here. So whether you agree or disagree with this show, I almost forgot. Deborah, yeah, hey, what's going on? How you doing? I forgot to say what's up, and I forgot to go and say I think at least 4 fighters that Floyd beat. I think there are 4 fighters that Floyd beat that Crawford maybe could not beat. Now I'll be interested in hearing that. We're gonna have to listen to that tomorrow. Like I said, this argument was 39 years old versus 37-year-old or a current day Crawford. At 39, I'm taking Crawford because Floyd was fighting in Japan exhibitions. And we had the decline had really been seen and noticed. Absolutely. If we go 34, 35, lower weight, or when he was doing what he was doing to the likes of Canelo, more so 36 down to 34. Yeah. Okay, taking Floyd, no question. I still would want to see it at 147. That's a dream fight I would like to see, but regardless of which, it is what it is. Maybe he'll come back and fight. Maybe Floyd will come back and fight Crawford if Crawford beats Canelo. And pull out this fight with Mike Tyson. Who knows? Everything's insane. All I know is I can't wait for tomorrow, and it's going to be a pleasure and a time to see it with you all, because we're going to stream it. Yes, we are. We streaming tomorrow, and we streaming on Sunday. Going through and watching all the fights that take place, and I can't wait to see it, and hopefully you all will be along for the ride. But with all of that being said, with this, here we go. This has been another episode of The Watchable with me, your host, Jean-Louis. We appreciate your time and your effort coming in and joining in on the show. It's been great. It's been phenomenal. Last question, do you have Chavez? Do you have Canelo over Chavez? As of right now, no. It's comparable. As of right now, no, though. But again, we can have that question. We can have that conversation for tomorrow. But thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. This has been a phenomenal show. We are now in less than 24 hours going to witness one of the biggest fights of the year. Crawford and Canelo. Be here for the live stream on, 9 o'clock on tomorrow. And then on Sunday, anyway, versus Ahmed Ali. We're going to stream that as well. Thank you to everybody who came in and chatted with us on stream for today. Again, if you want to support the channel, we got Cash App and PayPal links down below, also in the description if you want to support us. And again, because we don't got monetization, this is the best way that we can do it for now. Once we get it, super chats and all that stuff, hey, you all will be able to do it, and we'll be rolling in dough, hypothetically. But again, in all seriousness, we appreciate your time. We appreciate your engagement. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Keep on sharing the show with everybody you know. Hit the notification bell so you know whenever we post right here on YouTube. We're available on every podcasting platform, so you can listen to us anywhere, anytime, any place, on Apple, Spotify, and every major podcasting affiliate imaginable. If we're not there, tell us, and we'll get there absolutely. And be sure to, is that everything? Leave a like, comment, thoughts, and pins. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. Share the show. And be here for the stream. Yep, that's about it. Be here for the stream. So, with all that being said, gotta make sure, I'm trying to make sure I can make it through to these end credits. I keep forgetting. I need to speed this stuff up along so we can end it a little bit quicker. But again, with all that being said, it's going to be a historic night. It's going to be a phenomenal night. I can't wait to see it. Tune into this live stream because it is going to be reactions galore. And if you want the best fight commentary possible outside of what you hear with the great, I think Jim Lampley, I think he's going to be on the call for tomorrow. Hey, come here and come and sit with us, and we're going to have ourselves a time. But with all that being said, I've been John Luke Welch. Y'all have been wonderful. Peace and love. Oh, we are out of here. Yes, sir. We are going to see you all on Saturday for the fight. Be safe. Be blessed. Get ready. Tune in for the weigh-in tonight. And we got to fight tomorrow. Peace and love. We out.